Welcome back, everybody, to Codec Calls, a Metal Gear Saga podcast, where we play the games in chronological release date order from 1987 all the way to the present with two Metal Gear veterans and one noob. I am, as always, one of your co-hosts, Noise1, aka Luis. I don't have another aka, but I do have two fellas here, German, aka Contra, aka Riser.
Hey, what's up?
And also the world's worst gamer, aka DammitKriss, aka Kriss.
Hello.
I guess I should ask. Did you guys finish the game?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I know you did, Kriss. I watched you. It was
That's
awful.
True. Yeah.
I'm glad I was there for that. When you sent that message, I thought it was just a, what do you call it, clip. And I even said, oh, yeah, I was like, I wanted to watch him or something like that. And then I realized it said, Kriss is streaming now or something like that. And I was like, oh, this is right now. Like, I'll jump right into this channel. Like, cool, I get to watch it.
Dude, how crazy were those? Like, he died. Hold on, I'm trying to remember how he died. He died as he killed Metal Gear, right? Is that one of them?
No, the one I saw was, he had a shaving of health left.
Yeah.
Kriss was celebrating. Yeah. Kriss was like, I did it. And then he's like, no.
He ran out of stingers. He because he was spamming stingers. Yeah, so that was, we'll talk about that. That was pretty funny. What was the other clip? I don't remember.
The other one, I don't remember off the top of my head right now either. But yeah, that's the one I
weird
caught.
Death, yeah.
Possibly a weird death or something. Kriss being silly.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was really funny about all that is that it made me think of this other streamer who I think I mentioned to you guys. I don't know if I was on the podcast or off podcast, but he, if I understood correctly, he's a quadriplegic and he plays video games with his mouth.
Yeah. I think you mentioned it on this podcast.
Did I?
I think so. One of the early episodes, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. And he I caught him at the tail end of his entire thing. So he was doing like the Palkey stuff and he got stuck in the gas room at one point and he didn't want clues. And I'm like, oh, he already did what he had to do, but then he died and then went back in there and got stuck. And I'm like trying to help him, but I was like, I know you don't want me to tell you anything, so I'm not gonna. But anyways, there was two clips that I did that were like almost similar to what happened to Kriss.
Oh, yeah.
But what happened to this guy is as he shot the last stinger, it hit Metal Gear and it was fading to white, but then I don't know if it was the machine gun or the laser or the missiles, but one of those hit him before the fade out happened and killed him. And it happened twice, and I got both those clips, and he was like, dude, how'd you clip those so fast? I was like, I'm ready, man.
That's cool.
I'm always ready on Twitch to clip something crazy. So anyways, last week we played from, what the hell did we do? We beat Cyborg Ninja.
Mm-hmm.
So then from there, we went off looking for Meryl, beat Psycho Mantis, slapped Meryl around a bit, showed her who's boss, defeated Sniper Wolf, didn't kill her, but defeated Sniper Wolf.
Yeah.
Oh, what were you going to say?
I was going to say like the mini battle or whatever.
Yeah. Fought the Tower of Doom along with the rope boss.
Yep.
You know what's funny is I didn't have any problems with the rope this time, and none that I can remember my first couple playthroughs ever. So I don't know. Maybe I had no trouble with that repelling section. So
well, that's good. Yeah, because I don't know why I have troubles with it now.
I do remember finding it just annoying. Like we talked about it last time. Just go up, just so you can go all the way back down or halfway down. Technically, just finding it annoying. But that's about it.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Kriss?
I was gonna say. So you didn't hit many or any of the vent things?
No,
got down without.
I got down just fine. I hit vents on purpose because there's items that you can kind of pick up along the sides.
Oh yeah, there's like rations or something.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember. I'm like, oh, are these like special items? And I went to go pick up one, and it was just a ration. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't think there's anything special here. Like, there's nothing I'm missing. And then like, honestly, I was just playing. I was just goofing around. I was kind of like just walking back and forth, seeing if I can go back up. And I hit one on purpose.
But you were. How often did you get hit?
How what?
How often did you get hit?
I only got hit like once or twice, and that's because I was just messing around. Like I said, I was just running left and right for fun.
So, is it a timing thing or is it just luck based? I'm curious.
Well, I might be lucky, but I try to time it. Like I'm trying to like think like, okay, like it's gonna go off now, and so I jump and then I kind of jump again. I'm telling you, the only time I got hit maybe once by Hind D's bullets, but never by the vents.
Yeah, see, I didn't get hit by the bullets, I don't think, from Hind D.
And you got hit by the
vents. every time I touched the wall, I was hit by a vent. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I swear to God, maybe it's
it is like definitely a timing thing. Because I said the last time, I was pretty good at avoiding them. I used to have a path, but now I can't remember what the path is. Like I used to take like the diagonal beams. Like I used to take those beams and go, whatever I used to do. But one trick I did learn is if Hindy's about to like come around the corner and start shooting, hold on to the stop where you're at and then press square. Is it to hold on to the wall?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. So
is that the equivalent of like going up against the wall when you're in the rooms and stuff, like hugging up to the wall?
No, if you press square, like you lift your legs and you hold on to the wall. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
Because if you don't, you're just kind of like swaying about.
That's what you can use to move left and right, right?
Yes, that's what you move left and right. So if Hindy's about to come by, beak dangling, and then when the bullets are about to come, then press square, and you like Snake lifts himself up, and the bullets go right underneath your butt, and miss every time.
Huh.
So that I never have a problem with, but it's just the vents nowadays.
Really? Yeah, no problems. But yeah,
well, whatever, German.
So we did that. Where did we leave off?
So right after that, we beat Hindy.
We beat actual Hindy.
Okay. Yeah, beat actual Hindy and killed Liquid, supposedly.
Oh, yeah.
So a couple things I want to touch on, some notes I have from last episode. The torture, I remember at one point, German was mentioning that there's only 3 torture sessions, max. But in between them, it could be anywhere from 3 starting from easy, 4 with normal, 5 with hard, and 6, maybe 7 with extreme.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's not like visits to the torture room, but how many times Ocelot is like, can you take one more? He'll do more as the difficulty is higher in the game.
Okay.
Interesting.
So that would kind of make sense then, because I'm sure I've beaten the game on extreme or hard back in the day, and that could be why it felt like it was just a lot longer before the ninja broke me out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's why when you say you watch some like games done quick on Metal Gear, the speedrunner is hoping that the incentive, like the money incentive, is going towards not saving Meryl, because they're obviously running on extreme, and they're like, dude, I don't want to do this torture, because it's like, it's brutal.
It's going to take forever. Yeah, well, it eats your time too.
And it eats your time, yeah.
So yeah, save the animals, don't save the animals. So save Meryl, don't save Meryl. Okay.
Right, save the animals, don't save the animals, yeah. And then another thing that is affected by difficulty is in the Hindy fight, we forgot to talk about this, but if you're not standing in a certain spot after Liquid shoots off those last missiles, you will get one-shotted and die and have to do the whole fight over. Did that happen to you, Kriss, at all?
No.
Okay, do you remember where you were standing?
I was, I believe I was between the building and that, like, I don't know if it's like a radiator or like an AC unit or whatever, that block that's kind of in the center there.
Yeah, like it's got like 2 water wells or something.
Yeah.
That is where you're supposed to stand.
Okay.
Or you will get one-shotted. On normal and above. On easy, you can stand anywhere and you're fine. On normal and hard, you have to be between, like you said, the entrance door and those little water wheel looking things.
Okay.
But on extreme, you can't stand there. You will die. You have to be standing at the bottom left, like pressed up against the railing. I don't know if necessarily pressed up against it, but way over there.
Yeah.
And then you'll survive, which is funny because, if you've played the game multiple times, yeah, I'm sure it trolled a bunch of people like, why'd I die here? A funny thing that I don't know if you noticed in the menu screen, if you're just chilling there and you move the analog stick around, it changes the color of the background.
Yeah.
And I think if you move the right stick or something else will change like the speed at which the animation is moving in the background. Like you can, like it like zooms in and out and does some weird stuff.
Huh.
Yeah. And another thing we forgot to mention that Revolver Ocelot mentions about Sniper Wolf is that sometimes she falls in love with her targets. So that's why she gets all kinky when she scratches you in the face.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. So another reason people are like, Wolf is bae.
I still don't understand, though, why Dr. Otto fell in love with her like so quickly. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
He's a simp. Also,
by the way, I love that you call him Dr. Otto.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone in the history of Metal Gear call him Dr. Otto, but I love it. But yeah, you're right. Like, why was he all head over heels over her? I think because, what did he say? Because she saved the wolves. When the revolt happened, they wanted to shoot him or something, and he was like, that must mean she's a good person or something.
Something like that. Yeah, and then she was just kind of kind to him for whatever reasons.
Yeah, but I think it's because Otacon has issues. Yeah. Let's say a trauma, maybe? I don't know. We may never know. Anyways, Kriss, what did you experience this time around with the gameplay?
Well, the last third was much, much harder than the first two, for sure.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah. But it was interesting. Fleshed out a lot of the story, obviously. I was sus of Colonel, which I think he was worthy of, but I didn't suspect that Naomi was even more sus. I was kind of sus of her too, but Naomi turned out to be the actual bad guy, I guess, kind of.
Spy or whatever. Traitor. Yeah.
Yeah. The big boss of this game, I guess. And I found that interesting. It was a nice little twist in the plot. I liked it.
Okay. What about after the hindy, like all that stuff?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I like I said,
Do you remember what happens?
Yeah. Vaguely.
You have to climb all the way back down the tower.
Yeah, that's right.
And then because Otacon says that that the elevator fixed itself.
Yeah.
So you climb down and fight those cameras again on the way down. and you get a little a reference to Metal Gear 2 in an elevator.
Yeah. Really?
You don't remember that?
I have that on my notes. Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
German?
I do not.
You want to speak on it?
Yeah. I have that on my notes because, since we've been playing through all the games and I had never played Metal Gear 2 before, that as soon as after we played 2, I was like, oh, yeah, this is definitely the Four Horsemen, Kriss.
The Four Horsemen.
Oh, okay, yeah, I did. Oh, okay, that makes sense now, yeah.
Yeah, because you go in there... Go ahead.
No.
Oh, I was just going to say, because when you get in there, the weight limit alarm goes off, and that's when, like, Otacon calls you, and he's like, I only weigh, like, 135,
I think.
Yeah, 135. Yeah. Oh, my God, I weigh more than Otacon now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I was like, man, I wish I could be 135. I was like 110. Like, I was so skinny. Yeah, and so, yeah, it's like, they're in there with you, like, because I guess Otacon had some extra stealth camo for you in the lab that he went to go get.
That's one thing that would always piss me off about this game, or at least the first time around, is when you see the stealth camo and you're like, oh, that thing is sick. And I was kind of like, how about the guy that needs to sneak around gets it? Just kind of throwing it out there, Otacon. Just always remember that bothering me. And then when you get to that section, by the way, even if you equip the thermal goggles, they don't show up. They don't show up until the cutscene triggers.
Yeah.
So you can't cheese it. You can't like do anything with it. You just have to fight them no matter what. I was going to point out, I think, if I'm not wrong here, this is the only other expression in the Codec Calls that differs from your basic face and then just them moving their lips.
Oh, yeah, when it zooms
Otacon.
in.
Yeah, that big old, they're in there with you, watch out.
Yeah, he's like screaming.
Yeah, it looks just so funny. I think that's the only other time it does that, or the only time it does that. Yeah, but I remember, I was just thinking also, though, like, okay, so you killed him. Did you damage the stealth camos? Like, why couldn't Snake pick them up,
yeah. Yep, I guess you did.
I'm assuming you damaged them.
Yeah. So, yeah, Kriss, so you fought the Four Horsemen, which actually they're nicknamed the Four Horsemen also.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, a lot of speedrunners call them the Four Horsemen, probably because they know the reference to Metal Gear 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so pretty much right after that, like, it's another boss fight, like, right away.
Yeah.
You're out in the snowfield. Kriss, you should be telling us this.
Do you remember? Yeah, I do. Yeah, so it took me a while to get through the fight with the Four Horsemen for sure.
Oh, okay.
And I backtracked through most of the map just trying to get rations.
Oh, okay.
I remember I streamed this in my Discord, and I know HeyJ was there, and he was just having a ball with everything. Me dying to the guns, me not having rations. We had this inside joke of pixel health, stuff like that, where I'm down to like the last pixel of my health, and I'm going in, rushing into these boss battles and doing all sorts of stuff. And he's like, yeah, you're gonna die, and I know it's gonna happen. He's just laughing and everything, but yeah. So I like backtracked through like a good portion of the map, just to get some rations and everything. And I came back and I was much better equipped, and eventually got through it. I think I used up like 2 rations throughout the fight or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I got through that, got to the bottom. And then, yeah, like you said, you're in the snowfield, and right away, just throw you right to the wolves again.
Literally.
Yeah, I remember there was were you talking to Meryl at the time? I don't remember.
Otacon.
Otacon, right, yeah.
Meryl is missing at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
She's taking a shower or something, or trying her hair.
Yeah.
Steve is the only one who answers the code call.
Yeah. I remember, like, at first I went to the left side of the map. And I was on the bottom left, and she just, like, I was trying to move around, and everywhere I went, she was hitting me. And of course, it knocks you down, and as soon as you stand right back up, she hits you again and knocks you down, and like, I was able to move like 5 feet total before I died. And then next time I loaded in, and I was like, okay, I'll go to the right this time, because I knew there was that that ledge, the like the little
on the right side
mountain. Yeah. So I was like, I'll hide behind there and see if that helps. And so sure enough, I did, and she wasn't hitting me. So I was like, oh, cool. That's one thing figured out. Now I just need to figure out where she is so I can hit her. And so I remember I got the PSG one out, and I'm looking for her and looking. I can't see her, and I like put it away, scoot forward just a tiny bit, and she'd hit me.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck? Where is she? And so I pull it out again. I'm looking. I don't see her. And while it's still out, like I'm looking around, and she's still hitting me. And I'm like, how is she able to hit me if I can't see her? Like, I was like, what the heck? So eventually I found where she was, and I saw she was like kind of running back and forth between trees and stuff. And I was like, all right, so I'll try to get her or whatever.
And she's wearing like a white snowsuit, snow jacket, so it's harder to see her.
Yeah, and luckily where I was, there was some ammo that would spawn right there too. Because there was a couple times I would run out of ammo, and I was like, crap, now what? And I put the weapon away, would unequip it, and I saw there was ammo right there. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. So I'd back up just a little bit, grab that, and go forward again. And it took me a few tries to get through that, obviously, as well. But eventually I was able to beat her, and then AutoCon comes out. Why'd you have to kill her? I loved her, and like, don't spare her life and everything. It's like, but she's suffering right now. Like she's gonna die either way. Like, why not put her out of her misery?
She's lung shot, so there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, and then he's all like sad and everything. It's like, really, just get over it, dude. Like, it's not, you knew her for like an hour, maybe.
Yeah, right. How long has it been? It's only been like a max a day or something, right?
Yeah,
just the whole takeover.
The time limit, I think, so they gave them 24 hours to respond to the demands, and by the time you hit the heliport,
it had been 5 hours. Oh no,
4.
It would just 4 hours. Yeah,
because Colonel says there are only 18 hours left until their deadline.
Yep.
So I mean, well, if we think about it, Autocon has been there for a while, and so has Foxhound. Like they have all been overseeing this project for a while.
True.
And it wasn't until the day before you show up that there's like some kind of revolt and something.
Yeah, the revolt. That's what they call it, I think, actually.
Because they even talk, I forget where, but they even talk about how like at a certain point, all the soldiers started acting kind of funny, and then that's when the revolt happened. So I guess that kind of gives them time to hang out, get to know each other.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you imagine them hanging out in the lunchroom? Like, what do you like to do? Well, I like to take a bunch of pills and snipe people and scratch them before I kill them, stuff like that.
Yeah. But so I got past that, and then I got to you get to that one room where there's like the two cameras that are just stable. They're not moving or anything. They're static. And it took me a good 3 or 4 tries to get through that as well. Because I was like, what am I supposed to do? Do I use a box? And I was like, no, that won't work. Because they're static, they're not moving, so you don't get a chance to like sneak past them or whatever.
Were you out of chaffs by then?
Huh?
Were you out of chaff grenades by then?
No, I just didn't even think of that at the time. Not until later. And there was one time I remember on the right side, there's that little thing you can kind of crawl under, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm supposed to go this way. And then I crawled under, got to the other side, and the camera just shot me, and I died right there. I was like, nope, that's not it either.
So the fact that you're mentioning those crates that you can crawl under, I didn't know those existed until I started watching the speed runs. Did you know they were there, German?
I'm trying to remember. Where is it? What part of the map?
It's the room where you actually go to change discs.
Okay.
Because you could just, like, there's 2 crates and you go in between them, and on the other side there's 2 cameras pointing straight at you.
Yeah.
But if you look to the right, or pretty much almost dead straight ahead and to the right, down below you can crawl underneath that crate.
No, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy that Kriss saw it like first try, like, oh, there's a fucking crawl space right here.
Yeah, I just happened to notice a little gap there, it looked like. And I was like, is that a crawl space? And I tried it. Yeah, sure enough, it was. But yeah, it ended up dying. And then I remembered, oh yeah, chaff grenades. They disable electronics and stuff. And so I threw that and got through, and that whole thing. But I died a few times in there. And then there was there were a couple other rooms around. You can gather some supplies and stuff. I did that as well.
Did you gather another box by any chance?
Yes, I got box C, which was for the snowfield.
How many boxes did you get by now?
I had 3 total.
Okay, cool.
Because I know one of them was for the hangar. Mm-hmm. One was for the missile facility or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
And then one was for the snowfield or whatever.
Yeah, whatever that area is called.
But yeah, I didn't notice there was multiple of them until, I don't remember when I collected it, but I got the second box and I was like, wait, box A and box B, what? Mm-hmm. And I looked through them and I saw that they had to this area or addressed to this area or whatever. And I was like, oh, so I don't know. because I never actually tested it, but I don't know if you had like box A in the snowfield, which was meant for the hangar, the tank hangar, if you would be more likely to be found, or if they would like immediately kick it over, or how that worked.
I think so.
Okay.
I haven't really tested it too much in this game, but I think that does affect it. So I think you seem out of place to the soldiers because they're like, hey, this isn't supposed to be here.
Yeah.
But they actually have a second purpose. So you know those trucks, like the very first truck in the heliport where you get the SOCOM?
Mm-hmm.
If you go into those trucks and equip a box that is not from that area. So if you're in the heliport truck and you equip box B or C, they are actually a form of fast travel.
Oh.
So if you equip box B, they drop you off inside the spare warhead room.
Yeah.
Because there's a truck in there also. And if you do box C, you're out in the snowfield where that other truck is. And same thing. They're all interchangeables. It actually becomes kind of a another homage to the first two Metal Gear games. Where you go into the... Oh my God. I'm so glad we're not doing that anymore. But yeah, like going into the wrong truck.
Mm-hmm. Takes you all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah, and ending up in a different spot. So that I feel like that's what that kind of was. It was an homage to like, oh yeah, and like not necessarily a fast travel because by that point, you don't need the fast travel anymore unless you're just wanting to fuck around and see what else you can find.
Yeah. Okay. I did not know that. I'll have to test that out. But yeah, so I got some other supplies and everything around there, and then eventually I went down those stairs and was in that place with the all the lava and all that kind of stuff. I think was the next room down, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what we talked about this shortly before we started. Is that lava? That's what I always called it, but it's just gotta be molten metal, right? I mean, why the hell would lava be there? It's just some kind of refinery, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I think that's the term we all learned as kids is lava.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's molten metal, and I learned that from Terminator 2.
Oh, true, yeah.
Which that room makes me think of that.
Oh, always. Always. Yeah, that room, like I said, I always feel like room is just so out of place because there's no other building like that or no other room like that. Just that's the only section. And I remember getting there and just kind of remembering hating that room for unknown reasons. I don't know, maybe just because the whole game you've been in the winter and all of a sudden you're just in this hot room. So I always feel like on edge in that room. And I did this time too. I was like, I remember this place and I remember hating this place, but it's not that bad.
Especially the one part of that room that I don't like is the bottom right, that little room with all the steam. Because that's also, they're all timed at a certain thing. They have their own timers, but it feels random. And yeah, it sucks getting through that. And then there's another little spot with like 2 cameras or 1 camera. That's the
body armor, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you miss the body armor in the second floor basement where you fight Ninja, this is the other place to get it.
Yeah.
So that's one thing the game does do for you. If you miss an item early, there is like a future place where you can get it. Like if you miss the SOCOM in the truck in the heliport, the game just gives it to you at the first gunfight because there's no other. I mean, I guess you could just choke them to death, right? Because that's those 3 guys are mandatory kills. I never tried to just choke them out. I wonder if I can go through the whole game without a SOCOM.
Well, she's gonna give it to you. Oh wait, no. I know this one for a fact. In the next section, when Snake's talking to her, so you can't choke out the first 3, but when Snake's like, "What are you doing?" or some bullshit like that, he automatically moves to where the SOCOM is, so you'll pick it up no matter what.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Yep. The animation forces you over it, so you can't. The only way to do it is to do the DARPA skip, and then you won't have the SOCOM. But yeah, same thing with like I think the night vision goggles too, right? Like if you don't get them in a certain spot, they're somewhere else.
I'm sure, but I've always found them, early.
Yeah, and the mine detector, same thing. If you don't get it in the upstairs room in the tank hangar, it's actually in that spot right before reaching Metal Gear where it's got like 1 million cameras.
That's one room I love. I think it's funny.
Yeah, I can't wait to explain to Kriss how to get past that room without setting off any cameras. But so the snowfield. Okay, so we're in the foundry. There's an elevator in that room.
Yeah,
I did not.
Yeah, it's also very not useful.
No.
Well, only if you need to go back.
Yeah, I did see that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can't access it from the bottom. You can only access it while it's in the same floor that you're in. So it's almost like the elevators that only go up and the elevators that only go down. Like, thanks for the reference again. But the only reason you would have to go back out to the snowfield is once you get keycard level 7. There is a door. I don't know if you noticed that was level 7 that you couldn't get into.
Yeah, I went back.
And I don't remember what's in there. Do you remember what's in there, German?
No. Where is this? I mean, did I do it? Where's this door? Remind me.
It's in the snowfield where you fought Sniper Wolf.
Oh, yeah, I went all the way back, but I don't remember what was in there. I won't lie, so.
I think it's another spot you can get the body armor.
I want to say when I went there, it was mostly like ammo and stuff.
Oh, you did go all the way back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went back there when I got card 7, opened that door, yeah. Because I remember that when I was there and I got, I beat her and I didn't get card 7. I was like, oh, I must get it sometime later or something. And I remember, I think it was Vulcan Raven gives you card 7, right? After he does?
Yeah.
And yeah, after that, I was like, oh, that's right. There's that one area back in the snowfield I hadn't opened. So I went back there and went through there, yeah. And if I remember correctly, I think it was just like ammo and rations and stuff like that.
Yeah, so. I'm looking it up. You're right. I think I went back to myself
stuff.
And it's just ammo. There's nothing there.
Oh, okay. Did you, now that we're speaking about backtracking, did you backtrack back to where you fought Ocelot after you got the 6th key?
That I don't think I did. I remember thinking about doing that when I had like key 4 or 5, and I was like, oh, I need to remember to come back here. I did go back to the 2nd floor basement in that one area with the bathrooms. I went back there and went to the room there for the 6th key, but I did not go back down there to where Ocelot was.
That's how you get the body armor, right? Is key 6 over there?
I thought I got the body armor before that, but it could be.
Oh, I don't remember. There's something there.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe night vision goggles or something. No, that doesn't make sense because you get the night vision goggles before you get the sniper wolf.
Yeah.
What room are you guys talking about?
In the gas room where you use your Nikita missiles for the first time.
Oh, you know what? Okay, I didn't go there. I was like, is there anything there? I'm like, no, I don't think there's anything there. And I just left.
Yeah, so this would be a reason to actually use the cardboard box once you get to the snowfield. So if you don't want to backtrack manually, I guess once you beat Sniper Wolf, you can use box A to get... Damn, is that where you want to go? Yeah, box A to get back to the heliport, and then you can go back to the armory. So remember that wall that you blew up on the right-hand side of Ocelot?
Mm-hmm.
There's a level 6 door there.
Yeah.
And in there is a camera, which is a special item. That one does not affect your ranking at the end of the game.
Then maybe I did go back there because I had the camera.
Oh, you did have the camera. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you must have backtracked at some point. Did you use it at all, the camera?
I didn't. I remember bringing it up at one point and like, oh, this is kind of cool. But like I set it aside after that, and then I just kind of focused on the game afterwards and forgot about it mostly.
Yeah, so those... The pictures you take up a slot on your memory card. So it's like, I think you can only take, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I think it takes up like 2 slots or something. I forget the way the PlayStation memory card worked. But there's actually a little secret to that camera. We'll mention that in the Easter eggs and stuff. But okay, so you were through the foundry, and then you kind of get another like 4 horsemen thing again, right?
Yes, on the elevators down, yeah.
Yeah.
But before I get there, I remember like trying to figure out how to get down, and I did go to that elevator you talked about where it only goes up.
Oh,
and
so
I remember,
okay.
I remember making a call, and I think it was Dr. Otacon I had talked to, and he's like, "Oh, it looks like you can't control it from where you are." And so I was like, "Do I need to get someone else to control it? Like, what does that mean? Like, I don't understand." Like, but it makes sense now what you're saying. You have to be going back in order to use it.
Yeah, there's like no button on the outside. You can only operate it from the inside.
Yeah. Because I remember like punching the wall and stuff like, where's the button? Where's the button? And so I went on that walkway over to the left, and I was like, where am I supposed to go? And then I noticed there was just that little bit of a gap in the railing, and I was like, oh, that's where it wants me to go. And I saw on the lower side, there was a box there. And I was like, oh, it must want me to like push up against the wall and move that way. So I did that. I remember like moving back when I went down to get the box, and then I was going to go back, and I let go of the wrong button, and he just fell right off into the lava, and I was like, oh, okay, that sucks.
Yes.
I'll have to be careful of that.
Yes.
And then I went back and did that again, and I was crossing it, talked about like the whole crane, and you got to be careful of it, and I was like, okay. And so I knew like, okay, I have to duck, obviously. And then it was one of those things where like I was going under it, and I ducked, and then I let go of the button again, and I fell into lava or the molten steel again, and crap. And I did that so many times that there was jokes in my chat that like, oh, he's going to die more to this stuff than, the boss combined. And I was like, that wasn't the case at all. But it was one of those things where we just talked about that.
Environmental hazards.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, eventually I got my way around and picked up as many things as I could. Got spotted a couple times, obviously, and then went through that door and took the elevators down. But yeah, I remember the 4 horsemen again. And it was significantly easier this time because I had a lot more rations.
And there was only 3 this time.
Yeah, but I didn't know why there was a reason there was only 3. I didn't know if it was the same guys or if it was like a different group or how that works. So
yeah, where the hell did they come from? Like, it's they're clearly coming from behind like boxes and stuff, but they're not in there because, like anybody else, you obviously went around the room looking for items, and they weren't there, so where the hell did they come from?
Exactly, yeah.
The part seems a little forced, or I don't know, maybe that was supposed to be the original Four Horsemen section.
Because that's a much bigger arena.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Instead of a little tiny elevator. That's a freight elevator, so I mean, that would have been a cool mini boss fight or something, because that's just another encounter.
Yeah, they could have moved around a lot more than that little elevator.
Yeah.
I never thought about it until just now. Maybe that was supposed to be the original section for it, and it was just left over,
Yeah, that's the third forced kills that you have to do, yeah.
You know what? It could have been like, remember us, Snake? Where you killed, one of our brothers last time, but now the three of us can take you out. That would have been a complete, reference. They should have done that.
Yeah.
Next time.
Next time.
On the next remake.
Yeah. But yeah, I got to the bottom, and then it just takes you to another elevator, and I did not notice the gun there at all. And I think one of the times I went down there, I was weakened by the guys I had fought, and I didn't have my rations equipped, and so I was on, very low health. And you just go around that corner, and that gun gets you right away, immediately, and I died, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And so I went through it all again. This time I was like, okay, now I'm gonna make sure I have health before I go through this. Threw my chaff grenade and everything, and went through and took the yellow elevator down, and then
it does pivot the camera.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, it moves left and right. So if you like press against the railing of the freight elevator, just to the side of it, you can kind of look, and it's kind of hard to tell just because it's so damn pixelated, but you can kind of tell where it's looking and where to go just in case you ran out of chaff grenades or something.
Okay. Because there was times when I was backtracking, coming up that first freight elevator, and like it's when it cuts the scene and it comes back again, you're like at the top, it puts you in the center of the elevator by default,
and it spots you.
There'd be times I'd come up and it immediately starts shooting me. Like, what the heck? I just got here. Like, I can't even control my character yet.
The good thing is that it can't hit you. It just sees you.
No, it hit me.
What?
I was hit by bullets. Yeah,
it's never been able to hit me.
There was a couple times, when I was backtracking, or if I was coming back up that elevator. Yeah, there was a couple times that it would hit me.
Whoa!
Which one? From coming up from Volgan's area?
Yeah, from Raven.
I've been
Vulcan is somebody else, German.
Oh yeah, sorry. Vulcan. I'm dyslexic, you know that. I've been hit by that one too, Noise. So
really?
Yeah.
That's crazy, because
now this playthrough for sure. Previous playthroughs, I don't know, but this one I got hit by it for sure. Because
imagine having no health.
Yeah, because I used a ration, and I always have rations equipped, unlike Kriss. So mine, I remember using. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. I was like, cheap shot.
That's funny, yeah, because speedrunners call that good luck when the camera spots you, because then at least at that point you know where it's pointing, and you can just run underneath it.
That's true, yeah.
Crazy that it can hit you sometimes. Anything else in that room kill you? You roam around the room looking for items at all?
Yeah, I don't remember anything else killing me.
No, nothing exploding.
Oh yeah, there were bombs. I forgot about that. Yeah. Yes, I do remember that now. Yeah.
I sometimes forget about those damn claymores.
Yeah.
Or depending on the difficulty, they're placed differently.
Ooh.
Or either they're placed differently or there's more.
Okay.
Because for sure on Extreme they were closer to that elevator, and I was like, what the hell? I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm pretty sure they're up against the wall.
I remembered them. I knew they were there, and I didn't feel like picking them up. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna run around them. And I guess I was just too fucking close to it, and I died. I fucking died. And I was like, you fucking gotta be kidding me. So I was just a little pissed, but yeah, I died.
Speaking of running around them, did you guys ever try to go back to the first fight with Vulcan Raven and sneak around the claymores there?
Sneak. Oh, when you said just go against the one on the left?
Yeah, so if you go to the left,
it works.
And you hug that wall, it doesn't hit you.
Yeah, instead of the normal crawl, pick it up and then get up, and so that's been saving me time on my speedruns, because I'm like, what? I could just that's crazy.
Yeah.
And speaking of those claymores, obviously we can see them with thermals. And I was going to mention this during the real sniper fight. The thermals will also help you see her.
Okay.
Because obviously she's wearing white.
Yeah.
And she'll blend into whatever wall she is between the wall and the trees. But if you have the thermals, you see her arms sticking out the sides like way easier.
Yeah.
And also, I'm sure German knows this trick too, is just use Nikita missiles.
Oh. No, I didn't do that against her. I'm pretty sure I have. With her, I did just the classic. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to beat her. I just kind of run around, wait for her to shoot and miss me, and then I instantly just go prone and just eat a fucking potassium or whatever the fuck that pill is, and then just sniper. Yeah, because I forgot. I think I mentioned it last time. I forgot how clunky the goddamn sniper controls are. I mean, just the fact that even if you're laying down already and you equip it, it just the way it zooms in, it's just kind of slow. It's just clunky as hell.
It's almost like it would be nice if you could just stand up and aim.
Yeah.
You know, because once you equip it, you're locked in. There is no changing. There's no crawling, repositioning yourself. You're just locked in. So, like I said, that's how I've always beaten her. Like I said, I think I might have used Nikita missiles before, but I definitely just wait for her to miss and then just lay down and it just sniper.
Yeah, because I always for sure tried different weapons, like especially like how you were doing Metal Gear 2, where you were just like, I'm just gonna use mines and just use mines for everybody.
Dude, mines.
Yeah, you could even use stingers against her. So if you got a clear shot to her, and there's because there's that little mountain of like a snow berm, you could definitely hit her with stingers too. But it's funny doing it with Nikita missiles because she doesn't like react to them. She's just like, oh, like those guys on the bridge that you were shooting with the Nikita missiles, where they're just like not reactive. They're like, what is this thing? And you just die. Were you going to say, Kriss?
I was going to say, you mentioned, German, that you would run around and wait for her to miss.
Yeah.
I had run around several times, and I would keep running, and she would always hit me.
I don't know. I wish I would have seen that. No, I just run around, dude. Like, you can see her laser more or less on you, and then just kind of like, I just run through, look circles, and you can hear it hit the wall. And that's when you know she missed you.
Yeah. And maybe because I was constantly running one direction, the AI was able to like overcompensate.
Lock onto you, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, well, a sniper would be able to, compensate for you running. Yeah, predict your path. So maybe. But yeah, I just do little weird circles, little figure eights. And like I said, as soon as she misses, I know where she came from. And I just turn around, aim in that general direction, equip it, and then usually I'll be right on her. If you get lucky, she's hiding behind a tree or whatever, allowing you to line up your shot. And if you're not lucky, she's still aiming at you. She'll freaking hit you, which you'll go into that big old recoil motion.
Yeah.
And then
flinch.
Yeah, big old flinch.
I hate it.
My favorite part of that fight is if I can get a shot off between her walking between trees. Like if I could just get that shot, like if I could predict her movement and just like, oh yes, it's awesome, instead of waiting for her to peek around the corner.
Yeah.
So got murdered by claymores again, I guess. Oh, what were you going to say?
Hold on, we skipped a little bit section here. At least the thing I wanted to touch on. So switching disc, you did that just fine. Yeah. I'm assuming, right, Kriss?
Yeah.
So for me, never owning a PlayStation, only borrowing it, it felt weird. It felt taboo to open up your goddamn PlayStation. Yeah. So that's what we had to do. You had to literally open it. You're like, oh shit, am I gonna break it? And now knowing, being more advanced in my knowledge of technology, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't break it at all. It's no big deal. Yeah. Because the disc actually stops spinning. The game knows, like, stop spinning. You open it up, swap out the disc, and then I was like, okay, I put in the new disc, and then it boots up or whatever, right? And I was like, oh shit, this is pretty cool. I remember that being pretty cool. I'd never switched discs before in my life, so
that is even part of the speedrunning too, because they play it on original hardware. So they like have to know the exact moment where they can open the disc to swap the disc out, close it, and then press start. Because if they do it too soon, then the game would be like, hey, there's something wrong with the disc or some shit.
Isn't there, if you do it too soon? No, you know what? There's like a little...
If you're not prompted to do it, the game goes like, hey, what the hell?
Yeah.
Your disc tray's open.
I believe, though, if you go back to that room with disc 2 loaded, or something like that.
So I get what you're saying. So the entire map is on disc 2 also, but the only the map until the snowfield is on disc 1. The reason they make you switch to disc 2 and not just play from disc 2 is because none of the cutscenes and audio and logic from anywhere before that is not, all of that is missing on disc 2.
Okay.
But yeah, because otherwise then if you were to fast travel to the heliport, you would have to switch discs again.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But you don't have to. Like once you did that, you're golden.
Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that, Kriss, because doing it on this on the emulator it's not the same as doing it. Well, I think you talked about playing Final Fantasy 7, so you probably switch discs all the time.
Yeah.
There's 3 discs on that one.
I've never done it, so. Like I said, to me, it was just kind of a cool experience and a cool memory.
Yeah. And Final Fantasy 9 had 4 discs.
Yep, that's the only game where I actually made it past disc 1. I never got to disc 2 on Final Fantasy 7, and on Final Fantasy 9 I made it to disc 4, and then my game save got corrupted because that's what happened back in the day.
And then you gave up, right?
Yep, I was like, nope. That was a lot of gameplay. I'm good.
Yeah, you're like, I beat it.
I'll just assume I saved the world. By then, something already devastating happens anyway, so I was just like, fuck this.
So we're pretty much leading up to the next boss fight. Elevator. Yeah.
So you got murdered by claymores, and then second freight elevator, which is longer.
Yep.
Yeah, and then what, Kriss?
And then you go and you meet up with Vulcan Raven again. And
you start pulling each other's ears, right?
yeah, exactly. I don't know what that was about. Like, if that's a reference or something. I don't
a real
get
thing.
it. Okay.
It's a real Eskimo Olympics.
I mean, I kind of figured it was, but I wasn't sure.
Is it really?
So
did you look this up?
No, well, I mean, I remember back in the day hearing about it, and then some other form of media, I found out it's real. It's a real thing. You pull, there's like a, I think, like, don't quote me on all of them, but like probably like kind of like a polar bear plunge, something like that. You got to see how long you can last in the freaking cold with like nothing on or whatever.
Oh, yeah, bro, I just looked it up, and I thought they did it with their hands. They don't do it with their hands.
Oh, with the rope, a little string or something, right?
Yeah, it's like a little string.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Oh, so do they like
They're
put
like
holes in their ears?
You lean back. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Wait, they put holes in their ears?
No, I was asking if that's how it works.
No, just around your ear, I think.
Oh, okay. So it's holding onto the cartilage, and then you guys are just pulling. Oh my god, this looks way more brutal than what I pictured as a.
You know what? What's funny? You're right. When I first heard about that, I thought they were just pulling physically with their fingers on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm imagining almost a tug of war match, but instead of a rope, you're just pulling on each other's ears. Yeah.
Let's see who gives up first.
Interesting. Okay.
But it was actually a tug of war. It's a tug of war with your ears.
Yeah.
But what I like is that Snake actually knew about,
because he lives in Alaska.
Well, I mean, but he was only there for so long. But he was just, I guess, that immersed in the culture. You know.
Well, he has been retired since
the first Metal Gear. Or 2, sorry.
Metal Gear 2, which was, what year was that?
95 or so, yeah.
So from 95 to 2005. That's like 10 years.
So that's enough time to definitely know some of the local etiquette.
Yeah. And what else did he say? He says, you must be a real threat. Yeah.
Muktuk eating contest. I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming it's a part of the Olympics. So
that one I'm going to look up too. Go ahead, Kriss.
But yeah, so we get started with that, and one thing I had questioned with the logic of the game, I guess, is when that crow lands on you, you cannot move. You are immobilized, right? Because Snake is like, I can't move. What's going on? And he's like, oh, the Raven has put the death mark on you, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Why didn't he just kill you there?
Yeah, well...
He's a man of honor.
Exactly, for sure, for that reason. I think I remember questioning that too back in the day, and just knowing the game now and just jumping a little bit ahead, I'm assuming Fox Die was there to kill all of them. So he was like, I'm going to go out like a man and fight you. You know, I could kill you right now, or just, see what you're made out of.
Well, I know, like, after the tank battle, the first time you meet him and everything, when he was talking to the unknown character at that time, which I assume was Liquid Snake, he was talking about, like, oh, it's a fight I look forward to and everything. So it does make sense that he would want to actually fight you and not just, trap you or kill you in a way that's non-sportsmanship, I guess, or sportsmanlike.
Yeah.
So, but it just struck me as odd, like, he went out of his way to put this hex or whatever on you, and make it so you can't move at all, so he can talk to you. Yeah. And then after your conversation, he's like, okay, now I'll let you go. Now we can fight. It was just odd to me. So
did you?
I think it's just lonely. He just want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Did you call Natasha or anybody during the fight or at all?
I don't think I did actually. I don't remember calling anyone actually.
No, because they I think Natasha. I think all of them, Natasha and Master and all of them, they freaked the fuck out because he's freaking carrying around a gun that's made to be used by a goddamn what is it, Harrier or just a fighter jet?
Something. I forgot that they mentioned that. They're like, dude, like, how strong is this guy if he's just carrying around like a backpack and a fucking pencil?
Yeah, it's. I remember thinking the same thing too, like, because obviously
it's bigger than him.
In the 90s. Yeah, growing up in the 90s, I was huge into Arnold Schwarzenegger, Predator, Terminator, Rocky, Rambo, all that stuff with our Sylvester Stallone. So the classic scene of Predator where they all shoot into the forest. You know what I'm talking about, right?
With the minigun.
Yeah. Kriss, you know what scene I'm talking about?
I don't recall it specifically. No.
Well, it's a scene where, like, I think they had just killed somebody, one of the crew members.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura, the guy with the cowboy hat. He used to be a wrestler and he went into politics like Schwarzenegger. But anyways, Jesse, the body Ventura is what they called him, and he's the guy with the cowboy hat, and he gets killed, and then his homie Mac, yeah. He sees
the body. That's right. Yeah.
Well, he sees the body, but then he sees something moving in the jungle, like literally the stealth camouflage that we're using in this game.
Exactly.
But there's also like these green eyes that flash, and that's when he knows, like, oh shit, like there's something here, and he grabs Jesse Ventura's.
That's right. He
his
grabs his minigun. Yep.
And he just starts mowing down the entire forest, and everybody else is just like emptying clips, reloading, emptying clips.
I love that. Yeah, I love that scene because like no one says a word. They just all show up and start shooting in the same goddamn direction. You know?
They assume that he's shooting at something legit, you know?
Yeah.
And even at a point later in the movie, they start making fun of him because he like kills a pig.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like, this fucking guy, he's fighting ghosts, dude. Like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? He's tripping.
But yeah, that scene is epic. You know, such a manly scene. So when you see Vulcan here with this goddamn, not even a minigun, this is a full-blown fucking gun. I just remember thinking, like, it's pretty cool. And Natasha, everyone just tells you that. Don't get in front of him because you're fucking dead, you know? He'll treat you Swiss cheese, I think Colonel Campbell.
Oh, yeah, like it'll just rip through you or something. Because those are like, what caliber are those, man? At least 50?
Oh, 50, dude, at least, yeah.
It's like, Jesus. Oh, muck tuck eating contest is a real thing. Do you guys want to know what muck tuck is?
Let's take a guess. Let's take a guess. Hold on. Muck tuck. I want to say it's some sort of like a shepherd's pie.
Well, think about where they are, right?
Okay.
They're in Alaska, so in the Arctic. What kind of food do they have?
I'm gonna say caribou. I'm gonna say liver.
Ugh. I say caribou as well, but again, like I was just thinking like caribou, like ground caribou or something. Like again, like a shepherd's pie with caribou. But maybe I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Seal.
German's pretty close.
Okay, what is it?
So it is consisting of whale skin and blubber.
Whale skin. Okay.
It is most often made from the bowhead whale, although the beluga and the narwhal are also used, which of course is a lie because narwhals aren't real. It is usually consumed raw, but can also be eaten frozen, cooked, or pickled.
Huh.
Interesting. Okay.
So what's the contest? Who can eat the most?
Well, I just wikied muktuk, but yes, there's YouTube videos of like muktuk eating contests.
Now, what's the real deal? Is it just because who can eat the most, as in who has the biggest gut, or is it something that's kind of gross? So who can eat the most because it's a gross item?
It sounds gross, so it's probably like both.
Well,
like
it sounds gross, but it doesn't mean it is. I mean, tacos de cabeza en lengua. People are like, what? But you know, they're pretty good.
Yeah, it's probably just like any other contest. Like, how many can you? Can you smash? Because a big boy like him definitely a threat.
Oh yeah. But yeah. Anyways, continuing with the battle. How was your battle with the Vulcan?
Oh, sounds boring.
Yeah.
Yawn.
No, it was interesting. I learned pretty quickly to use Nikitas. I think I pretty much knew that from the beginning, just from like all the boxes on the screen and everything, and he had quite a bit of range. Like, as far as it was long, like you could see long as well as a wide range. And so I was like, okay, you got to find some way to sneak up on him. I was like, the sniper's probably not it, because if you're looking at him, it's going to take time to aim. He's already going to be shooting at you by the time you even line up, you know? So I was like, okay, I'll try Nikita. And I remember the first time I tried to shoot at him, he was facing it and he shot it down. I was like, okay, so I got to catch him unaware. And so I was like, okay, I'll wait for him to turn around and start going the other direction. So I did that. And I remember like the Nikita would get close and he would alert. And at first I thought like, crap, that didn't even work. Like I still failed. But it would blow up right in front of him and still do damage. I was like, oh, okay, so this is working. And so I tried that. And then you get him down to like just above half health and he goes into phase 2 where he starts like running around everywhere. And I was like, oh crap, now what? Because I couldn't keep up with the Nikitas. And I remember I died a bunch of times because I would be in one place and I'm looking at the map and I'm thinking, for whatever reason, I know it's not the case, but I was thinking like, okay, the blinking dot is the Nikita, not me. And so I'm using that to track where he is, and I'm like moving the Nikita all around and everything, and then he would like be running around and he would find me while I'm directing the Nikita and he'd start shooting me, and then the Nikita would just blow up obviously and I would take a bunch of damage. And so I died a bunch of times before I figured out like, oh, let me try claymores. You know, So I was placing down claymores all over the place and trying to put them in different directions. And then there was one point where I kind of like cornered myself in and I forgot that I placed my claymores or where I had placed them. And I was like, oh, well, I placed my own claymores, so surely they won't blow up on me, right? Nope, I found out they do. So from then on, I was like, okay, so I'll have my body armor, you know, for when I'm doing the Nikitas and everything. And then afterwards, when I'm placing the claymores, I'll have my mine detector out. So that if I need to escape, I can at least pick them up or know where they are, you know. And so I did that, and then after a few tries of that, I ended up beating him. yeah, it was an interesting fight. And then at the end, of course, he, does this whole spiel of this was a worthy battle, you were a worthy opponent, and now I'll die, but not to you, because my crows are going to eat me, and I return to the earth and all that kind of stuff. And so it was pretty interesting. The level of respect he had for Solid Snake was much, much higher than anyone else, and you could tell that he was actually looking for that fight, and it's like, you're a worthy opponent, kind of thing. And so I found that really interesting about him.
Yeah, I completely forgot that his cone of vision is massive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it takes up the entire screen. That is one of my favorite fights. It's super intense, and there's multiple ways of defeating him. I also like the fact that he affects the environment. Like, he starts knocking crates down and starts creating walls for you. So he starts like you said, he's like starts cornering you into different places and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can defeat him with I think the intentional way is claymores, because that's kind of like, that's why they give you a bunch of claymores beforehand.
Okay.
Because there's a bunch of claymores in the snowfield in those rooms. I'm sure you discovered that too, Kriss, when you went in there.
Yeah.
Just got blown up.
Yeah.
So there's some there. There's some before the freight elevator. But yeah, I think that's the intended way. That's what they say, like, don't face him. Don't approach him in any way.
Yeah.
But obviously, Nikita missiles is a way to do it. Stinger missiles is another way to do it. If you are far enough from him and you can time it right, you can just straight blow him up that way.
You can also shoot him from the sides, right? Like, if you start shooting just randomly, and that if you're at the right angle, you can technically look around the corner and shoot him with the sniper or any gun, really.
And with the Stinger missile, like, it'll curve a little bit.
Yeah.
So as long as you're locked onto him, it'll curve. And also grenades. You could just cook them and throw them. And grenades will also work.
I forget grenades are in this goddamn game. Actually, I have a clip of me dying to a grenade, and I'll send it to you guys, probably not tonight, but later. But I think everyone uses claymores, because it almost feels like the Running Man, because he's running around. So, like, all right, I'll just let him walk into the damn grenades, the claymores. But like you, Kriss, this time, and possibly my first time, I forgot where I placed them, and I'm like, shit, boom, yeah.
And C4 also.
Oh yeah, I did do C4 like during one of my earlier playthroughs back in the day. Yeah. You put it up, that was easier because you put it up against the wall. Then you can run by it all the time, or on the floor, and then when you need to, you blow it up. That's right.
Yeah, you just have to remember the order that you place them, because every time you press it blows up the first one you put down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I just did one. I would just do one, wait for him to run by that one, and then just repeat. Yeah, but I forgot about C4. Never.
But any bullet-based weapon will not work. Like, I don't think I've ever gotten any damage on him. I think he spots you first, or is like has iframes or something towards it, because I've never succeeded in shooting him once.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, as soon as he hits by anything, he alerts to you, and if you're anywhere nearby, and he will start shooting immediately, and you can get stun locked pretty easily with that.
So speaking of that, the speedrun strat to Vulcan Raven is that you stun lock him, and the best way to do it is with the Nikita missiles. It's the slower method, but it works. Basically, you guys have to be like at a right angle, pretty much around a crate, and you basically shoot a Nikita missile and then point it towards him. You have to land one first. Once you land one, don't move from that spot. Shoot it again, and just, make that right angle turn and hit him over and over. For some reason, he sees the missile, but he can't shoot it out of the air. So as long as you don't move from that spot, and you just keep shooting, right angle, hit him again, right angle, hit him again. And that's
interesting.
That's the most secure way to do it in a speed run, in case the faster way doesn't work. And the faster way is actually grenades. You start cooking right at the beginning, you toss one at him, you hit him, and then you cook another one and just walk straight up towards him, and you just tank it. You just keep cooking grenades, and every single time that he hits you, you drop the grenade blows up and hits him. You cook another one, he hits you, you drop another grenade. And so you're basically just taking damage, but it's the quickest way to do it on speed strats. And it's worth it, because as long as you don't get hit anymore from there all the way until the final boss fight, your health replenishes at that boss fight. Like, they just give you full health.
Yeah.
The other place where your health fully replenishes is in the torture room also. So no matter how low your health is, when you get captured, you have full health.
Yeah.
And I think there's another spot, but I can't exactly remember.
But so it was an interesting fight. And then, of course, his ravens come and eat him, and that's kind of weird. But, I respect it. And then I remember what was after that.
The room with the million cameras.
Oh, yeah.
Which Snake points out. I don't know if it's a forced codec call or if it's a codec call you make, where Snake says that, no, it's a little after that, isn't it? That it says that the room leading to Metal Gear, or the room with Metal Gear itself, is completely unguarded, no cameras or something. I'm like, that bullshit, dude. There's fucking like 1 trillion cameras before you get into this room.
Yeah, so he says that, where does he say that? Oh, he says it, okay, so yeah, that's after that room.
It is after.
Yeah, once you finally come face to face with Metal Gear. But how much fun did you have with that room, Kriss, with all the cameras?
Oh, so much fun. I mean, I had chaff grenades, luckily. Yeah, it was a pain at first.
What if I told you don't need them?
Chaff grenades?
Yeah.
Go on.
German knows, right?
You know what? I'm going to draw a blank on this one. So either I don't know or I forgot, because I used chaff grenades.
So if you immediately take a right and just hug the walls, like you don't have to press against the walls, but if you just run against the wall underneath the bottom right cameras, those will not see you. And then if you run against the right side of the bridge, the cameras on the left side across at the waterfall won't see you. And then if you run on the top part of the wall,
okay,
where the door is, none of those cameras will see you. So you can literally, like, they're just out of reach if you hug the bottom, the right, and the top. But of course, if you go up the stairs, those ones
I
won't
noticed
see
with
you.
the top, yeah. But yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever done that, but
yeah, it's meant to like intimidate you, like, oh god, like all these cameras.
Yeah.
But you could totally, it's kind of like that Claymore mine situation with Merrill, where you could just go straight. It's more of a mind game where you could just, as long as you know the path, you don't need a chaff grenade.
I like trying to shoot them down with the Stinger missiles, but there's too many. I mean, unless you had tons of Stinger missiles, I don't even know what the max ammo count is.
35.
35. Yeah, but you can take, but then respawn when you come back in the room, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Stinger missiles and blowing things up, Kriss, did you know you could blow up that little thing in the foundry that you had to like crawl underneath?
No, I did not.
The crane?
Crane?
Yeah,
I didn't.
crane.
Huh.
Yeah, you could blow it up and then it won't move anymore. And then it kind of like falls at a weird angle, but it's at the perfect angle where you could just walk by it, so you don't have to wait for it to go by you and all that stuff.
Yeah, because I remember when I was backtracking when you're doing the PAL keys, and this is of course later on, when you're doing the PAL keys and you have to go back to the snowfield, right? Yeah, to get the frozen one. I remember thinking, like, I was going past the crane and coming back, it was much harder to see it, obviously. And so I would go into first person view and like, okay, I see it's coming this way or whatever. And so I'd start crawling, but I would crawl too far and it would knock me off.
Yeah.
But I did not know you could blow it up. Interesting, okay.
Yeah. Obviously it alerts everybody, but you can.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Totally do that.
Well, that does bring us to, I was going to say, should I continue on to the Palki?
Yeah. I mean, so you walk into the door and you see Metal Gear for the first time, like you're like, holy shit, I'm right in front of it. And yeah, that's when you get the phone call from Matacon, and that's when he mentions, like, it's weird, there's nobody here, there's no one guarding it, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
In that section, I have a note written down. I just want to bring it up before I forget. What the hell is up with the 3 floors having, if you will, a loading screen?
I was just thinking that.
What the fuck is it loading? Especially in the middle section of Metal Gear. There's nothing there for it to load, but it loads something.
Yeah, I don't know. I was literally thinking about that because there is a room, I mean, there's 2 rooms, I think, that have multiple floors that they totally could have done it. I don't think there was a limitation of the PlayStation, because the Taker room has 2 floors, or the tank hangar. The Warhead storage room has 2 floors. Even the canyon where you fight Sniper Wolf has 2 floors. But I mean, I guess that's basic geometry. There's not a lot of craziness going on there.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, there's not a lot of sprites. There's not a lot of.
It might just be the Metal Gear detail, because I mean, who knows how many polygons. I mean, the first floor is the most detailed, I think, right?
Yeah,
because it's got
the water, the camera,
some stairs, a little bridge, 2 stairs,
the feet.
The feet. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they were kind of like, can we just split this up? You know, it's for some reason, who knows what problems they had with the PlayStation back then, you know?
Yeah. Obviously, but I just always, not always, just at least this recent playthrough, I was like, it loads 3 fucking times? Like, damn, really? I'm like, okay.
I wonder if also it was like an aesthetic thing, you know, kind of like
Metal Gear look bigger. Yeah,
make them feel bigger by loading.
Maybe. For sure, obviously, this is like the first time you get to see Metal Gear in what would have been then New Age technology. So it's pretty cool seeing Metal Gear what it was supposed to feel like when you played, the original games.
Yeah, like holy shit.
In the original games, he's not all that much bigger than you are.
Yeah, he's tiny. Yeah, if only there was a ladder you could climb all the way up for like minutes and minutes. That would make Metal Gear look so much better.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So you get 3 calls from Otacon there.
Yep.
And one of the funny things that he says, I know this is part of the story, but Snake is like, "Are you a hacker?" And that made me fucking laugh out loud because I was like, "Oh yeah, hacking was like a new concept in like 1998."
Yeah.
Well, I was going to bring that up. I had notes. I don't remember what it all meant, but dude, the 90s had a ton of movies and media and all kinds of stuff with making demands to the White House. Terrorists making some kind of demand to the White House. That was just like the hot topic. I don't know if that really happens. I mean, I was too young to really know politics back then, so I don't know if terrorists were making demands. So
well,
I just thought
we didn't know about it, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. I was just too young. But I mean, someone out there who knows more about history and stuff like that, negotiations, like do terrorists make demands to the White House?
Right.
Just curious.
Yeah, I feel like we saw that a lot in our 20s. Not a lot, but like we did see, like there was hostage situations in the Middle East. Remember those videos that were coming out?
No, which ones?
Like they had journalists and stuff. I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't like a ton of them. But I remember when I saw that as an adult, I was like, "Holy shit! Like this is really happening."
There was some journalists saying like they want this, they want that. You're right. There was demands to the White House,
especially after the Al Qaeda stuff. Mm-hmm. After 9/11. Either it was always happening or we were paying attention more because 9/11 kind of brought that to the forefront for everybody. Mm-hmm. I know Gulf War was also at the forefront for everybody in the 90s, but we were kids, so we knew about the war maybe, but weren't paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, I don't know, this game for sure, like the more I was playing it today, I was like, man, I forget how important this game was to me and how it changed me as a person and how I viewed the world afterwards. But you get to climb Metal Gear like a Colossus.
Yep.
Then what?
Which again, it goes against what Snake just said because there's a freaking guard up in the very top.
Oh yeah.
I fucking hate that guard.
That is the worst guard in the game.
He is fucking horrible, man.
There was 2 times I died to that guard in the loading screen. I kid you not. Where you go up those stairs.
Oh, you just make it
right
upstairs
there.
and die?
Yeah. It's like, what's that? And he would start shooting at you, and the screen would fade black, and then I hear the and the game over pops up. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me! I died in a loading screen. Why?
Oh, hell no.
That happened twice.
That happened to me during speedruns because already I have like no health because of Vulcan Raven and whatever the hell else. And yeah, I think Jessie witnessed a couple of those. She was like, "What happened?" I'm like, you fucking shot me before the load screen.
It didn't happen to me, but that section definitely reminds me of Metal Gear 2. I think like the first time you go up the elevator and you walk on the, I guess, metal grates and they make sounds. So the guards are like, "What's that?" Because you can't really get close enough without alerting his ass. So I just ended up finding it's better to just crawl in that section, and you can usually out crawl him before he comes back to that door. So, anyways, you get to that door.
Do you want me to give you a little secret about walking on stuff like that? You know how I remember I told Kriss, I was like, was it Kriss or somebody that I told you called Miller? And Miller was like, there's this thing called stalking.
Yeah.
So if you equip a chaff and then do the quick equip and unequip, like if you just like spam R1 over and over, Snake will, he'll have that animation where he's like have it in his hand and he doesn't. Yeah. You'll notice his feet never touch the ground.
Oh, really? Okay. I did not know that.
So since his feet never touch the ground, the animation never causes the sound of him walking on grated floor.
Okay.
And so you could do that like all the way up to the guy and he won't even notice that you're there.
Oh, okay.
But then there's the problem that you get to him before he passes the stairs.
Yeah.
And so if you're speedrunning, you're like, okay, now I have to unequip it perfectly to where I can throw him and then go up the stairs. But I just run around in little circles while spamming that button until he walks away and then I go up the stairs.
Yeah, I was just like, there were times where I would walk down, like coming down the ladder off the Metal Gear and everything coming around. And there would be times where I would be walking down and he'd be right there.
Yep.
Like right at the beginning. And then other times I'd be able to make it all the way through. And like, I think once or twice I even made it through without even alerting him.
He's on some kind of global timer because
he's always in the same spots. Yeah. I remembered I used to, because I hated him so much. Like from the climb up the Metal Gear, I would I would because it's that long stretch, I would get the sniper rifle and I would just fucking shoot him because I was like, I don't want to deal with this guy. Just fucking shoot him, but then he respawns every single time that room loads.
Yep. But yeah, so you get into that room and you figure out the PAL key thing and do all that stuff, and because Dr. Otacon, it tells you, I think, oh, you need to, the key you had, it changes shape, and I was like, oh, is this the earrings from what's her name all over again?
Was it Holly? Holly, right?
Yeah. No, was it Holly? Yeah, it was Holly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And I was like, oh, they're reusing that. Like, it's pretty cool, but it's at the same time, it's like, can't you think of anything else? Like, But I'm also not one that writes games, so I shouldn't talk. But yeah, so it's like, oh, one of them has to be really cold, and the other has to be really hot. And I was like, yeah, just like the other keys, okay. And so I was like, okay, yeah, for the cold one, obviously I need to go back to the snowfield. Not even realizing I could do it right where you fought, what's his name? Vulcan Raven, yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. You went to the snowfields?
I went way back to the snowfields. Yeah. Well, because the only reason I knew that happened was because there was one time that I was fighting Sniper Wolf, and it was taking a little while, and I had taken some damage, and I was like, oh, I'll just use a ration. And I'm looking through my inventory, and it says rations are frozen. I was like, what the heck?
Yes. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I have never seen that.
Yeah, if you spend enough time in a cold area, your rations will freeze. And you cannot use them.
I never know that.
And also, speaking of weird like one-off moments like that, I think it's Johnny, if you don't knock him out or don't kill him and you walk into the torture room, he'll chase you and then he'll have you at gunpoint and then he'll be like, oh no, not again, and then run off to the bathroom and then and that's where he'll be for the rest of the game. But
that's hilarious.
If that's what you do, you'll catch a cold. You'll catch the cold that he has.
Oh, okay, because there was that medicine you get at one point, and it's like it's to help you get over a cold. And I was like, I thought it was for, because I used it one point when I was fighting Sniper Wolf, and I noticed my rations were frozen. And I was like, maybe I use it for that because it said to fight a cold. So I was like, okay, I'm thinking literally, fight a cold. And I used it and nothing happened. And I was like,
when your rations catches a cold.
Okay, cool. Yeah. It was a stupid thought in passing, but yeah, it was one of those things where like, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that, German. Yeah, that's something I experienced definitely my first playthrough or two. Just like, whoa, what the hell? My rations are frozen.
I don't think I ever saw that in my first playthrough. And I definitely didn't see this one's news to me.
Well, what's funny is it happened to me when I was fighting Vulcan Raven as well, so I don't know why I didn't put that together. So, I just need to go back here and then, yeah.
Well, I did the same thing on my first playthrough, is I went all the way I went all the way back to the snowfield to freeze my key. I had the same. I remember that as a memory. I was like, "Oh my god, just right here where Vulcan Raven's at."
So I did Vulcan Raven my first time, just because I felt that room was colder for some reason. Maybe because you can see more of Vulcan Raven's what do you call it? Want to call it his breath? Mm-hmm. So I just figured like that room you can actually see ice buildup and everything. So like, oh, this has got to be the coldest room in the whole freaking game.
It's logical.
So yeah, I didn't know the snowfields again. But just answer me this though: as far as you guys know, then if you saw frozen rations, the PAL key doesn't change until the game wants it to change, right?
It's on a 1 minute timer.
No, but I mean, like, let's say pre. What I'm trying to say is pre that discovery, the PAL key is always just a PAL key. It won't change.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what do you mean?
So, like, I'm trying to say this like a flag for the PAL key won't change shapes until you've reached that point of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I guess. Now you got me second guessing it.
Well, yeah, because the first time I went through there, my rations were frozen with after the Vulcan Raven fight, so it would have been in the shape of
the would have also
frozen
been
one, yeah.
But I mean, did you notice? I'm assuming there's a flag. It doesn't change without you giving it permission.
Yeah.
Or the game giving it permission.
And now I'm also wondering, what if you backtracked all the way to the first snowfield with the tank boss? Will shit freeze there too?
I'm assuming so at this point.
Huh.
Because, I don't know.
It's a lot of backtracking, but yeah.
I'm curious. Well, I mean, all you have to do is just do the B box.
Yeah.
And then just walk out that door. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Kojima and his team are so good at little details like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was listening back to the previous episode, and German was talking about how, like, if the port 2 on your controller's fucked, like, how do you beat Psycho Mantis? Like, someone had to think about that. Someone had to go like, yeah, cool idea, but what if their shit doesn't work, bro?
Yeah, what if it just doesn't fucking work?
Right? And somebody Kojima or whatever wrote down a new piece of dialogue and was like, okay, just make that into gameplay. And somebody was shooting themselves in the head like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, fuck. I shouldn't have said anything.
I know. No, but then we would have had a game that would have been unbeatable for certain people. So
yeah, you would have been soft locked.
Right? Imagine that.
Yeah, so I remember I went all the way back to that snowfield to get the frozen, change the key to the frozen one. And then, obviously only back to the smelting area to get the hot one.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember specifically I walked into the room with all the steam.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I wonder if this is warmer, if it'll do it faster. Not knowing at the time that there was a 1-minute timer. But yeah, I did that.
And every time you transition from room to room, so if you were in the original room and then went to the steam room, the timer resets.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to ask about that too. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. All right.
But I used to think the same thing too. I would, go into that steam room. I'm like, oh, I could do whatever I want here while I'm, doing whatever. And then the key will turn red. But no, you have to stay in one room and then let the timer go to a minute.
Yeah. But yeah, so I did that and then got all that done. And then, of course, Master Miller reveals that he's not Master Miller. He has been Liquid Snake this whole time.
Wait. That's not now.
Yeah.
No.
No, is it not? Okay.
No. So... Oh, wait. Yeah, sorry. I was still picturing you with the key. I didn't picture you going all the way back to the room yet.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, you go back to the room, use it to unlock it, and then you end up activating Metal Gear as opposed to deactivating it. You're like, wait, what? No, I was supposed to deactivate it. And then, Master Miller comes on and like, haha, thank you for your work.
So, by the way, Kriss, as a first-time player, and oh, by the way, I did want to let you know, by no means in shape, way, or form, do I, and I'm pretty sure Noise is the same, do we mean to insult you whenever we say, oh, good job, Kriss, you remembered a piece of dialogue, or good job, Kriss. I mean, we were playing these things when we were kids, so for us, we're like, what the fuck, So, as a first-time player, and as an adult, not a 10-year-old 11-year-old kid, was it obvious you're fucking activating Metal Gear?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay.
No.
Was it obvious to you, Noise, when you first played it?
No, of course not.
What?
Was it to you?
Yes, I totally knew. I'm like...
Well, see, my brain was like, I'm playing a video game. Like, as I was playing it this last time, it's insanely obvious.
Okay.
But as I was playing it as a kid, I was just like, oh no, just keep doing the steps, whatever, but yeah, if you like this, when I was playing it just a couple hours ago, I was like, why the fuck is the room empty now?
That's why I was like, see, for me, because again, the fact that Snake says, oh, it's unguarded, even though it's not, and then like they go out of their way to fucking seal that room up. You'll never get in here, Snake. It's bulletproof or some bullshit.
Bulletproof.
And then they're fucking gone. I was like, I think these fuckers want me to do this.
Yeah, I didn't. No, I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Okay, so I did as a kid. I was like, I was like, oh, that's just part of the game. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Again, it doesn't make it any less interesting or cool, but I knew I was being tricked because I was like, okay, I'm being tricked. I'm like, but I didn't know that. So here's where I was going to touch on as well. For me, I don't know how you feel, Luis, and I don't know how you feel, Kriss. For me, I still hadn't put two and two together yet. That I thought that when Miller says the whole time you've been talking to, I thought that was going to be Decoy Octopus.
Oh man, that would have been
that's where my mindset was, where I was like, oh
no, but they already revealed who Decoy Octopus was by that point.
Kind of. They just say that he died.
Well, yeah,
or the body.
Vulcan Raven says that he was disguised as DARPA Chief.
DARPA Chief? He might have, and my dumb kid must have missed that part.
Yeah,
but
okay.
But that's what I was like, oh, the whole time you've been talking to him, like, oh, because I knew, because again, I was counting boss fights out, so I must have missed Vulcan, what he says. I was counting boss fights, and I said, I still got Revolver left, and I still got fucking Decoy Octopus, even though they said he's dead. I maybe wasn't picking up on it.
Yeah.
And I was expecting that it was going to be Octopus, and then it was like, oh, it's a Liquid. The whole time, like, oh, he just took off his glasses and let his hair down. Okay, sure. I'm like, he's fucking Liquid, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, even before you fight Vulcan Raven, he tells you who Liquid or Decoy Octopus was. In the cutscene where you're about to be tortured, they talk about then that he was dead.
Well, yeah, I remembered him talking about dead, but again, I might have just not picked up on it too much.
Dude, there's so many details to the game. Like, there's no way,
exactly.
Especially as a kid.
Yeah.
Like
that's what I'm saying.
We played the game multiple times until everything made sense.
Sure. And also, when I was playing this, I remember I didn't beat it until my first full session where I quote-unquote borrowed it from George. But the first time I played it, it was with my cousin. So it was the classic handoff controller. He plays for like an hour or two. I played for an hour or two, and we would die. We would lose our data, corrupt it. I don't
And you're fucking around, like, you're not even paying attention to the story. You're just like, let's...
Yeah. For whatever reasons, we started the game over multiple times. So that must have been a section that my cousin might have skipped the cutscene, or we were just talking and I wasn't paying attention to storyline. But yeah, that was my letdown. Was like, I was always like, oh man, I thought it was going to be decoy, and then like it was gonna be a cool boss fight, but no, it was just liquid. Anyways, he reveals it. Kriss,
my letdown for decoy octopus is when Vulcan Raven says that, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get to fight him.
Yeah,
I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, we did gloss over a little part. Did you have fun looking for the Palkey? What happened to you? Because there's actually different results on where to find the Palkey.
I don't remember where or when I found it, but I had it for quite a while.
No, but like, remember, Ocelot shoots it out of your hand.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay,
and you have
that's
to go
right.
back down. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why the doors open again, because it's like, wait, they were just there and now they're gone.
Oh yeah. That's what causes it to load the room again. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember when I first came into the room with Metal Gear, I went up to the left and I saw that camera, and I thought there must be something here worth guarding. So I went up there, snuck past the camera, and there was nothing there. And I was like, what the heck? What was the point of this? And I remember one of the people in my chat, because I was streaming on Twitch, and one of them said like, oh, you'll know later. So I was like, okay, I'll come back to that at some later point. And so when he shoots it out of your hand, that was the first thing that came to mind. I was like, oh, that must be where the key is, right? Mm-hmm. So I went down there and it wasn't there, and I was like, okay. And I remember I like walked down the stairs because I hadn't noticed them before, and I was like, oh, there's stuff down here. And I was like, okay, maybe I go in the water, and I get in the water and I start taking damage. I was like, oh, okay, get out of the water. And so I'm going all around, like, where is it? Where could it be? And I'm walking all over the top and everything, along all the structures, and climb all over and everything, and I cannot find where it is. And then when the same person who had told me, this will be important later, was like, get in the piss, because I joked about it being like sewage water, and that's why it was hurting me.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
Yeah, so I get in there, and I start walking around, and I found like a ration and some other stuff, and a bunch of different things, and eventually I went down under that bridge part, and I found the PAL key, and then I kept walking, and I found a bomb, and I was like, okay, cool, I guess I have a bomb now. Not even thinking about it, and I'm walking around, and all of a sudden I just blow up randomly. I was like, what the hell was that? And I was like, oh, it was the bomb I picked up, wasn't it?
Yep.
And so I had to go and do that all over again. And that's when I learned that each time you play, or each time you load that area, the PAL key is in a different spot.
Yes.
I didn't realize that until then, because I had picked up the bomb again, and I was like, no, get rid of it. So I threw it off, and I'm looking around the area where the PAL key was before. I was like, where is it? It's not here. And so I was going around other places, and I found it somewhere else completely. I was like, oh, okay. So it changes spots every time. That's cool.
Yeah, there's 7 different spots where it could be.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on either side, like those vertical straights. There's like 2 or 3 different spots there under the bridge and all that stuff. So there's 7 spots there. But there's a flag that happens that determines whether it's going to be in the water or if a fucking rat is going to have it in his mouth.
Really?
Yeah. So the flag is if you have less than 11 alerts, I believe, throughout the entire game, the rat will have it. If you have more, then it'll be in one of those 7 spots.
Okay.
Which is, I guess, what speedrunners figured out. And a lot of them will farm the 11 alerts throughout the entire game so that they know the route, so that they'll be like, okay, hit this spot, this spot, this spot, and if it's not in this spot, then it's in this last spot.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I would rather have less alerts because I know where the rat is gonna be. He's either gonna be by the camera where you were saying, because there's like a little vent, or right at the beginning, like where you first enter the room, on the right hand side there's the other stairway, there's another little vent down there.
Okay.
And if you have stinger missiles, you can actually lock on to the little son of a bitch and just blow them up. And if it's by the camera, it lands on the floor, but if it's by the downstairs part where the water is, it lands in the water.
Okay.
And it may be a little bit longer, but for me it's more of a guarantee instead of like, because I can't remember all the 7 positions, and I think that's why I do it that way.
So Bob, you mentioned the bomb. Did we ever mention the bomb that Ocelot leaves in your gear?
No.
Last
so
episode? We never did.
So I want to bring that up when we get to a certain ending.
Okay.
Because I did mention to Kriss that there is a different ending, and I didn't tell him which one he was getting. But yeah, I do Remind me of that.
Okay.
I'm gonna write it down. So go ahead. What the hell were we talking about?
Found the PAL key.
Yeah, got that back. And then, I got back and got all the keys inserted to the thing, and they activates, and he's freaked out. What's going on? And then Master Miller reveals that he was never Master Miller. He was Liquid Snake. Sorry. And again, I was streaming this live on Twitch, and Noise, I don't know if you were there for this particular moment. Immediately after this, it locks the door, and you're locked in there. It starts doing the gas, and I was like, crap, what am I supposed to do? Like, I had no idea. And of course, to most people, the obvious thing would be to call someone. To me, that was not the first thing that came to mind. I start thinking about, like, okay, what happens if I knock on the door? What happens if I crawl around? What happens if I, shoot these cameras? And so I stingered both of the cameras. There's a part, I kid you not, I went to the SIGs. I was like, there's got to be something. And I remember it was just a split second thought in my mind was like, if I light the SIG, maybe it'll like explode the gas and it'll get me out of here something, and it'll have like pixel health, and that's what you're supposed to do. I don't know why that was my thought, but it was one of those things. It's like, let's try it. And of course it didn't work. I must have died 5 or 6 times in a row in that room. Yeah. And I know for a fact that chat was getting so frustrated with me. And
by the way, all the things that you just mentioned, none of those were the gas mask. Did you put on the gas mask at all?
I did put on the gas mask.
Okay, yes. I was going to say.
Yeah.
So while we're on that subject, I sent you guys a link to one of the clips that I took.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
watch it real quick. It's like 10 minutes, 10 seconds long. Because I kind of forgot about that part. And I was like, oh, really? So my first thought was like,
what the fuck?
I thought, do I blow up the glass? I was like, am I supposed to blow up the glass? So I chugged the grenade. And as you can see in that video, I was nowhere near the damn explosion, in my opinion. And somehow I got fucking caught. So I just remember going like, how the fuck did that catch me?
I literally am like, where did the first grenade even come from? So it looks like you accidentally dropped a grenade or something. And then you threw one at the glass.
Yeah, well, that's the one, because the one I threw far away, not even at the glass. And I was like, no, throw it at the glass. And I went to throw it at the glass, and then that first one blew up, somehow killed me. And then I was like, okay, whatever. So I restarted that section, and I threw one at the glass, and it didn't break it through. And I was like, yeah, I think I gotta call this fucker.
I feel like you were pretty far away from that explosion, but
I was. That's why I clipped it. 'Cause like, how the hell did I get caught? But all right.
So I'm definitely gonna I'll put this on the YouTube version because that's just hella funny.
So anyway, this is why I asked Noise if you were there during that. One of the guys that was in the stream, good friend of mine, I'll give him a good shout out here. Not _ Canadian _ spy. Find him on Twitch. He's a great guy. He was in there, and I had prior knowledge of this, that he had played the game, but he did not beat it. So he has never been through this part. And keep in mind that Master Miller just tells you he's not Master Miller. He is Liquid Snake, and he's trying to kill you. Spy says in my stream, call Master Miller. I kid you not, I tried calling him.
Oh yes, I was there for that.
Yeah, and so he starts cracking up laughing, and I was like, why did I fall for that? Like, what part of me thought that would work? And it was just so bad. And eventually, I went through the list, and I called because I called Colonel, I think it was, and he was like, "Oh, talk to Dr. Otacon. He's good with this stuff." So I called him, and he does this whole thing of, "Oh, I just have to get to the security. Just give me a minute," and then you just wait around for a bit. "Oh, I opened the door," and you get on out and everything. But it was just like, I can't believe I called Master Miller. He literally just betrayed you, told you he's not him, and is trying to kill you. Why would you call him? So
awesome.
Which, by the way, that part is definitely anticlimactic as well, because it's like, you just armed Metal Gear. They lock you in there, and you're like, you're gonna die. And again, you just call Otacon. I thought blowing up the glass, I think it would have been different than just call the guy that can remote access any door. Yeah, but then when you need him to do stuff, he can't do stuff,
Mm-hmm. Which is why I was thinking along the lines of, there's got to be like a way to crawl out of here, or if I blow up these cameras, maybe it'll turn off the system or something.
What's funny is that's exactly what your thinking is, like, spot on. Like, what's the craziest thing I can do right now? I know, light the cigarette, because that will blow up this room, and I'll be left with just enough life.
Yeah.
I think that's a common thing. I think everyone's like, blow up the glass, do whatever. Because I do have memories of me like putting C4 on walls and like, how the hell do I get out of here?
Yeah.
But when I was playing earlier, I was heating up food because I was still playing at the same time today, and I gave Jessie the controllers, and I was like, hey, just call Otacon on this at this part, and she calls Otacon over and over and over, and I'm like, nothing's gonna happen if you don't get out of the codec, but like if you call Otacon, like it's just so funny because he's like, hurry, I'm running out of time, and Otacon's like, hold on, will ya? You know, it's just like, be patient.
I think I did that. A couple times just to see what he said.
Yeah, I love when you troll the people in the codec calls. Did we mention at all that I told Kriss to troll Mei Ling?
No, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, I think save? Yeah, to end to not save. Yeah, so I was like, just keep calling her and don't save. And she's like, don't call me for no reason. And she gets all like kind of flirty. But then on the last one, she's just like, or no, the second to last one, she's just like stares at you. And it's just like ... and then she hangs up. But then if you do it one more time, she gives you that face again, but then she sticks her tongue out at you and then and then hangs up. Classic Mei Ling.
Yep.
So did you like his sunglasses? Oh no, wait, sorry. How did you get out?
So I called Otacon and he disabled security, and I love the voice acting for it because it's like, I disabled the security, and it's so like monotone, but also like he's clearly trying to like sound excited and nervous and like, I did it, you're free now, but it wasn't like, it didn't come across that in the voice acting, and
it's
that
like,
was one
it's
of
like
the
when
few
you're a
times,
kid and you're pretending to yell.
Yeah, exactly. It was one of the few times that I thought that the voice acting was like, maybe do better next time.
Maybe do a take 2.
Yeah. But yeah, so I got out of there, and then of course Metal Gear starts activating and everything, and that whole scene happens. And
but did you like his sunglasses?
I did like his sunglasses.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a legit question that he had, and nobody ever answers them. But it's like, oh, it wasn't rhetorical.
And then the whole fight with Metal Gear Rex. Noise, you were there for that whole thing, and that was a disaster, of course.
Oh yeah, man, I almost forgot.
I mean, I
will also put those clips in the YouTube version of this. Because those were epic deaths.
Yeah, I spent a good at least 3 hours fighting him.
Jesus,
I think
I only saw the end of it, huh? Because some of the guys on your chat, who was it? Damn, I don't know. Some of these new guys, I know Eric and a couple of the other guys. Hey Jay, Jesus, who was
Shadow in there?
Shadow, I think, was in there for a short time.
One of the guys kept saying, it's like, you almost got this. Like, okay, that was another good shot. Or fuck, was it? Anyways,
I think one of them for sure was being sarcastic. Like, what was he saying? Damn it, I forget what he was saying. It was so fucking funny.
But either way, I felt, again, you said you were there for a couple hours, Kriss.
Yeah.
I felt that in the chat. Everybody was like, God damn it, we just want to go to sleep, Kriss. Kriss, we just want to go to sleep.
Some of them are like on the fucking East Coast and shit, and they're like,
one
it's
guy,
2 a.m.
Sephiroth Rising, is from the UK. So he is currently 7 hours ahead of me. Normally
he's like, 8. I gotta go to work in like an hour.
Yeah, he had to be up at 6 a.m. and it was 3 a.m. for him. So he's like, fucking finish this already.
I think it was him.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, Sephiroth Rising, another great streamer that I know, good guy, very fun to hang out with. Give him a shout out as well. But yeah, no, he, and that's one thing we do is he likes to give me a hard time and everything, and I do the same thing to him when he's streaming. So like, it's never in seriousness. He's never like actually angry. It's just the persona he plays or whatever. But yeah, it's just good fun. But yeah, no, it was. And then I remember I was streaming one day, the day before you were watching German, and then I was like, oh, it's been 3 hours. I'm gonna quit for now. I'm gonna call it a day or whatever. And I quit the game. And I remember with the emulator, every time you quit, it's like, do you want to save, or do you want to create a save state for this, or do you want to just quit without saving? And I was like, no, I must have saved, right? So I right as I clicked that button to exit without saving, because it had become such a habit for me, I was like, wait, when was the last time I saved?
Oh no.
Yeah.
It was just before Vulcan Raven, I think it was. So I had to get through his fight again.
So you did it twice then?
Yep.
Because what was the first time you did that? It sent you all the way back to Ocelot.
Yeah. Yeah, that was because I had saved a save state over the original one.
Jesus.
And the only actual save that I had from the game was just before Ocelot.
Okay. Yeah, because you were saying when you were playing Kingdom Hearts, it's like, what are they saying? It's like, just like the Cerberus fight all over again or some shit.
Yeah, because when I went to fight Cerberus in the Colosseum, and I could have sworn that I saved after that, and then I loaded up the next time I was streaming, and it was that again. And they're like, oh, you're fighting Cerberus again. The whole thing of like, gosh dang it, you know how to save, and so it's been a joke on my channel for years of the Cerberus incident.
Jesus.
So yeah, I had to get through Vulcan Raven again, and that was not a problem that time, obviously. And then get to all the PAL keys and all that kind of stuff, and or maybe it was just after Vulcan Raven I had saved, and I still had to do all the PAL keys or something. I don't know. But anyway, this time
I'm pretty sure I saw you fight Raven.
Okay, so it could have been
last stream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you fucking skipped the cutscene.
Yes, that's right.
And then you reloaded, and you fought him again.
Yeah, because I skipped the cutscene. Yeah.
Yes. So, I remember that's when I walked away for a bit. I was like, I gotta go somewhere else. I can't watch this. And then when I came back, you were already like an hour and a half or an hour deep in the Metal Gear, and I watched it for like the other 2 hours. Like, oh my god, this is insane.
So the first part made sense to me with the whole ray dome or whatever it's called. Like, okay, throw the chaff grenade, get his senses turned off, and then shoot that with the stinger missiles. Like, that made sense. The only issue I had was if you were just a little bit too close, you couldn't aim it high enough that it would lock onto it, and you could fire and you might hit it. Like, if he adjusted in just the right way, it might hit it. But more often than not, it would miss. And so it's like, oh crap, I'm just too close. And then by the time you de-equip the stingers, move to another position and equip it again, it's like the chaff grenade by that point is starting to wear off, so he's going to hit you. And so eventually I started to learn, like, if you are behind him, even when when his senses come back, if you're directly behind him, he won't see you. Like, you're in a blind spot. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, he doesn't turn around. He just stays facing that same way, just kind of looking back and forth. And so I used that to my advantage a couple of times. But yeah, it took me, and you were there, Noise, like I said, it took me hours to get through that fight. And then in the phase 2 was where I was getting really confused, because I was like, why isn't this working? Like, he's hitting me no matter what. And then you brought up the whole, like, well, okay, you destroyed the radome, right? I was like, yeah.
Well, no, I said, what did Gray Fox do?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what did he just accomplish? Yeah. And you're like, Yeah.
I was just done with it, and so
dude, having to watch that non-skippable cutscene like 10 or so times, where like Gray Fox is like begging, Gray Fox is begging you to kill him, and also for maybe the first 8 or so tries, Kriss was not skipping the cutscenes that you can skip. And I was just like, oh my, I don't know how are people not leaving this fucking stream. But that's Kriss's streams. Like, I mean, it's like this is the only way I can describe it, but it's like a car crash
that you can't look away from.
You cannot look away, and you can't leave, and you're just like, I just gotta keep watching.
Yep. That's some good nutshelling, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was it took me a long time to figure that, and even when I finally did figure out, like, no, just because I think you just outright told me, like, just don't do anything. Just hit him with the stinger missiles. Just do it.
The one thing I did explain, I was like, okay, if you're too far away from him, he's going to shoot missiles. Mm-hmm. Because the splash on those things is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if, now he can see you. Like, Liquid can see you because the mouth is opened.
Yeah.
And now he's exposed and chaffs don't work, which you were still using for some reason.
I was using chaff at first. And then after you mentioned that, I was like, oh, yeah, I can use the stun grenades. And that wasn't working either, and you're like, just don't use anything, just shoot him with the freaking stinger missiles.
Fucking shoot him, dude.
Oh hell, Kriss.
And then that's when that first death happened, because he wasn't waiting for the iframes to go away. He was just spamming the missiles and wasting them, and then you ran out of ammo and fucking so that's where the clip will be right here. It's awesome.
I will admit as well, Kriss, I was only there for like literally 1 hour. Like, when I got there, you beat him within like your third try or so. But
lucky you.
Just in that amount of time, the fact that you kept running circles around Metal Gear, I'm like, stop running circles around this fucking thing. And I'm like, why are you doing that, Kriss? I'm like, stop running around him.
Dude, when he got stuck on the top part of the map, and he's like, what am I getting stuck on? And I'm like, there's a thing that protrudes out of the wall, Kriss. Like, it's a wall.
I knew that, but I thought I was lower. I think what happened was the way he was facing, his foot was like also there, and I was getting stuck on that, because I would go down and try to go left, continue left, and so it must have been his foot that I was getting caught on too.
So while you're trying to press down.
Yeah.
Man, that whole thing was fucking hilarious, man.
Oh man. Yeah.
If you could do me a favor and highlight that entire Rex fight on your Twitch channel, just so if anyone is interested in watching that whole thing for 3 hours, You can watch it, and it's just too funny, man. That was the best thing I ever seen.
But like, you know what? I will admit though, more than likely, my first playthrough, I probably died a shitload too.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend I'm a superior gamer in that point of view. So I get that you were like, oh, running around, because I did the same thing. But I was, like I said, just the little 30 minutes of that section, I was just like, dude, stop running circles around him, and just because you would throw a chaff grenade and run all the way around him and throw another one and run. I'm like, why are you doing laps, bro? Just fucking just aim and shoot.
I feel like the difficulty ramp is steep right here.
It really is,
right? Because like everybody else is like, okay, an individual and whatever weapon they just gave you use against them. But here it's like, I don't like, this is a completely different mechanic. The fucking camera's pulled away.
One thing that really threw me off is when you're talking to Dr. Otacon and he's telling you like, oh, well, you have to destroy the radome because that's how he's tracking you, and then automatically, the thing will open, the cockpit will open, and that's where all the sensitive instruments are. And so I'm thinking like, okay, so most of the fight is doing that. Once the cockpit opens, it's like 1 or 2 hits and he's done. No, it was an entire new health bar.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's something that threw me off, is like, wait, what? He said it was like, this was all the delicate stuff. Like, it doesn't seem delicate to me if it can take 10 missiles. Like, what?
and it speaks volumes of freaking Liquid as well. Taking, was like 7 Stinger missiles.
Yeah.
What the hell?
And then you still fight him afterwards and he still lives. Like, what the hell? What is this guy made of? Like,
you won't die as long as you still live, bro.
And don't forget, spoilers for the end of the game, he was the inferior one. No.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. You're the inferior. No,
Snake is the inferior one. Yeah.
Anyways,
Liquid believed he was.
Yeah. This is a mindset, mind over matter kind of thing.
Yeah.
But eventually I was able to beat him, and then it gets to the whole, let's fist fight each other because there's nothing else to do, and after
because they're about to bomb the place and shit.
Yeah, when he reveals he has Meryl and everything, and one thing that came to mind is like, where was he keeping her? Like, was she inside of Rex? Was she like in another room? Like, where was she this whole time? Like, I'm curious to know that, the logistics and everything, because all of a sudden she's just there and you're tied up and everything. It's like, what just happened?
Well, actually, going back, you hit him the final time, and Metal Gear starts to blow up, and it fades to black or white, and then you're on top of him, on top of Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Well, he drag you? It like the explosion throws you.
Okay.
Knocked out.
It knocks out. Okay.
And then you're kind of like browning in and out, right? And Liquid is like walking towards you.
Yeah.
So he picks you up.
Okay.
And then I guess he carries you to the top. He
carries you up there.
Yeah.
100%.
Crazy. Yeah. And I guess I don't know. Liquids have more hiding places than men, and which Meryl hidden somewhere in his pocket.
I guess so. Yeah.
Which to me, did you guys get the Gray Fox kind of homage feel? Just a fist fight on top of Metal Gear?
I did. That's exactly what I thought of. Yeah.
No minds, but yeah.
Yeah.
Which I will kind of go on a tangent real quick.
I already know what you're going to talk about. Go ahead.
What is okay? So for me, at least my tangent here is Gray Fox. The gun he uses,
the Mega Man Blaster?
Yeah, it's never, as far as I know, really given a name. You never see it. Sorry, maybe spoilers, but what the fucking gun is that? I wanted that gun. I thought I was going to unlock that back in the day. I was like, ooh, once I beat this game, I'll probably unlock that game or something, or that gun. And no, you never get it. You never see it.
Why does he save it until now?
And that's the only time he shoots it. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, he never shoots it any other time. But there's a classic line, when Liquid is giving him shit. He's like, in Royal Britain or whatever, we don't hunt fox, we hunt jackals. And we don't use foxhounds, we use Royal Terriers.
Royal Harriers.
And Harrier, yeah, and he's like, a cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal. That line, I heard it back in 1990, whatever, and I'll never forget that line. I don't know why, it was just so epic,
Yeah, because it's like, it's Gray Fox's like, that's his battle cry. He's like,
that's exactly, I mean,
you have no fucking idea who you're fucking with, man. Like,
you have no idea, yeah.
He's the one he's the only one who has gotten the code name Fox, which is the highest honor, it's like the highest code name you can get.
Yeah, so I always remember that line. Just, it was such an epic little delivery there from him and from Liquid as well, just talking shit about him, like as he's crushing him with Metal Gear. That was pretty cool scene. I hope there's more like that later on, but yeah, it's just like, he's surviving with the exoskeleton just being crushed, and then he dies after that.
Which was one of the scenes that Noise had mentioned earlier. We would watch like 8 times.
Oh my god. I was like, skip this. This is skippable.
Chris like, what? You can skip it?
Yeah. But
German, I thought you were actually going to rant about the fact that Liquid says, if you cross this line, you'll fall.
Oh.
At this height, it will kill even you.
No, yeah.
Because you always bring it up.
Well, I just always hate things like that. Again, this is a video game. I know, I get it, but it always drives me nuts when it's like, and even in animes, that will do it. And one of Otacon's Japanese animes, where like a character will clearly be shot or slammed through 16 buildings and rocks and canyons and shit like that, in the battle scene. And then the next scene over, it's like they'll be pointing a gun at him. Don't move. It's like, oh no, I'm gonna get shot. Dude, you just fucking tanked, So in this game, like you're fighting someone, they're taking Stinger missiles. You get shot hundreds of times and you don't die because of the rations. Fine, whatever. That's the world you're building. But then in the very next scene, it'll be like, oh, I'm gonna shoot you and you'll die. But you just shot me like 18 times and I didn't die. So what's the difference between this time,
Mm-hmm.
Or in this case, it's like, if you fall, you will die. And then he falls and doesn't die. So, okay, how does that make sense?
So my response to that is that he's liquid and you're solid.
Yeah, you did say that. But anyways, your fist fight, your fisticuffs.
Yeah, so it took me a few times to get through that as well.
I personally thought you were gonna.
I thought he was gonna struggle for a bit, but he did not.
Based on what everyone was saying, how like they're like finally blah blah blah, and they're like, and I got the gist. You've been there for a minute at the Metal Gear fight.
They could see the light. They're like, it's happening.
Yeah. But then I was like, okay, well, I even said, I was like, here we go. I was like, I thought it was gonna take you a long time. I was like, here's another 30 continues, but no, you did it like in 4 or 5. And
yeah.
No,
it was, and I remember like when I first flipped him over, I was like, oh, I can do that too. And so I'm thinking like I can just spam that, but he wasn't taking any damage from it. So I was like, okay, crap, that won't work. I didn't even try choking him. I didn't think about that. But yeah, so it was just punching him and then knocking him off the side and everything. The like clearly someone mouthed that sound effect kind of thing. I thought that was funny. But yeah, and then after that was finally over. It's like, okay, finally I'm done, right? And then nope, there's more. It reminds me of, wait, there's more.
Oh,
but wait, there's more. Just like, how many phases are there to this boss fight? And it's just like, it was just so crazy. And then like, because after that there's that other cut scene and you get Meryl down and she's like, oh, let's go, get out of here or whatever, because the countdown starts. So I remember you go out of that room and like immediately she alerts the camera. It's like, what the hell were you doing, Meryl? Like, what have you been sneaking before? Like, and so
are we in the same base?
Yeah. And so immediately the guards are alerted behind you, and I know there were several times where it's like a split second after you just could control your character and you're already shot. And it's like, really? And so I found that one ration that hallway, and I thought that was the only one there. It wasn't until after, I don't know how many tries it was.
It honestly wasn't that many.
No,
but,
okay. It was about maybe 5 or 6, maybe at most.
It felt a lot longer than that, but probably because it's
yes,
like,
it did.
Will this finally end? Finally, jeez, when is this over? Because I had been streaming for like almost 3 hours at that point, and this was the second time fighting this, so it's been a long time. And so I remember Noise was like, I'll give you a hint. There's more than one ration.
Yeah, I said, maybe there's 2 rations in this room. And then I said, maybe even a third. And then I think when I said that, maybe even a third, that was your final try.
Yeah.
Because you had 2 rations now.
Mm-hmm. So I was able to finally tank that.
And you the screen just looked at the 3rd ration before you got on the Jeep. Yep. And I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah. I was like, hopefully 2 rations is enough. I was like, I mean, because the previous time you died literally, you were literally
when I said so close,
1 shot away from beating Liquid, because
that
that last hurrah where he's just like the Jeeps are slamming to the side of each other, and literally I was counting it. I was like, okay, boom, because it's not how many times you shoot him, it's how many times he shoots you.
Okay.
And so depending on the difficulty, if it's easy, he shoots you twice and then triggers the crash, and you're on normal, so he's got to shoot you 3 times.
Okay.
And same thing, hard and extreme. So it's more just a test of endurance.
Gotcha.
Obviously, if you shoot him, it pushes the scene forward, but that's what I've always have counted that. And yeah, you were like, I was like, dude, all he has to do is just get like, oh my god, he's not gonna survive this. Because I was like, nope, you don't have enough health for that 3rd shot to trigger the cutscene. And I was like, fuck, he's dead. But you died there a couple times. That was fun. Yeah. We also had to give you another hint. I think German was the one who gave you this hint.
Yeah, I was like, did you push all the buttons?
Oh yeah, go into first person mute.
That section is very crappy, and yeah, I don't think there's anything else you can do other than pre-aiming at those soldiers, which makes no sense. Why the fuck does Metal pull over? And then just for her for her to then drive through the damn barricade after that.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do that in the first place, you fuck?
Yeah.
Like you ran over people before. Like do it again. You don't.
Well, it's life and death. That's the thing. And she's like, "Oh, take care of the." Imagine if you had to get out of the Jeep and like open the door or some bullshit. God damn it.
Right? Yeah. Quick, let me out of the Jeep.
Yeah, I do like the camera angles are awesome. I remember that's what made that whole scene for me as a kid. I was like, this is like an action movie. Like,
oh yeah, movie exactly. Yeah,
reminded me. Yeah, it reminded me for sure that I was like, I'm playing a movie. Mm-hmm. But once you're playing it as a game, after you've experienced it for the first time or multiple times where you're just like, I just need to get through this, that becomes like, there's no quality of life there. You're just like, how the hell? Like, until you discover the first person button and you're like, wait, I can shoot while I'm aiming this time? The only time in the game I could do this?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't tell you anywhere else.
No.
It's not like you can call somebody right there and be like, hey, I'm on a Jeep right now. What do I do?
What if Natasha does tell you that? She's like, try aiming in first person, Snake.
Oh, man.
Or maybe I should try calling Master Miller.
Call Master Miller, yeah.
That would be a funny Easter egg, actually, for Kojima to put in, like, anywhere after the reveal. Like, if it's just a certain point in the game where you call Master Miller and Liquid just says, like, are you fucking kidding me, Snake?
I'm dead on the ground in front of you. I just died when Fox died.
Yeah, eventually, so I, got to the end and the crash thing happens and there's Solid or Liquid Snake again. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Is there another portion to this fight? And then he just kind of dies and I was like, okay, phew, it's finally over.
Which for me was pretty cool, because by that point in the game, I think I had forgotten about Fox die. So just to have it come back to that where you hear that gargling and you're like, oh, nice. It was a perfect little...
Yeah, as soon as it started happening, I was like, oh, Fox died. Nice, okay. Mm-hmm. But then I thought back too, because when you were talking to Colonel earlier, when you found out that, what's her name? Naomi was a spy. And he's like, oh, she gave you the injection too. And it's like, oh crap, when is she going to kill me with that? And so I remember that like in the back of my mind, like, when is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And how does it work and everything? And so I was interested to find that Naomi sort of, it seems like, developed a soft spot for you. And she's like, nope, I'm not going to kill you. Or no, she was super vague about it. She's like,
yeah, she's
like,
you
no, just live. And I was like, but that doesn't answer his question of when he's going to die. No, just live, enjoy your life.
Well,
what?
Yeah, I remember my first playthrough with that was because you are twins. You are made out of the same genes, the same, the DNA. So you're gonna die. And I think that's her way of just saying, like, look, I don't think
she knows the answer.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, I don't think they have like a manual switch where they can kill you. It's just like Liquid said, the minute you were introduced there, it's kind of like the Metal Gear 1. You were never really expected to succeed. You just had to get there and infect everybody. That was the main purpose.
You were the host.
Yep. The second you made contact with one genome soldier, it was supposed to spread through everybody and kill them. I'm assuming within 24 hours. That was kind of the plan. But yeah, I don't think they have like an actual trigger for anybody, Kriss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's why she didn't have an answer, and it's just kind of like, it's your will to live, like,
which kind of makes everything you did pointless.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's lore-wise, if you're talking about story, it's like, so what if I just came in contact with the first soldier at the beginning
and
somehow? Yeah, and then just hung out at the heliport for
just sit down, smoke cigarettes. Yeah, just smoke them.
Yeah.
Actually,
will
imagine
Liquid
that.
Die?
If they would have told you that, and they were like, hey, man, so here's the deal. We can go through this whole convoluted plan, or just go sneeze on a couple people, and then just chill in the box smoking your cigarettes, bro, and it'll take care of itself,
So I just realized, is that why Decoy Octopus as the president dies in that cell?
Yeah,
because he remember they drained DARPA Chief's blood, or he drained DARPA Chief's blood and took it into himself, and so that's why Decoy Octopus died, because technically he was genetically DARPA Chief.
You know what? Do they reveal that the Fox Die was programmed for DARPA Chief?
Yes, because that's why Kenneth Baker was saying
they did it or whatever.
They did it. They actually went and did it. So he was talking about Fox Die.
Yeah. That's what he was talking about. He was also talking about Lali Lule. So don't worry about it, Kriss. But anyways, but also, so who's the first one that dies? It's DARPA Chief. He dies Well, so does Kenneth Baker, but he dies pretty goddamn quick. Maybe Kenneth Baker because he was old and frail from the torture sessions. But DARPA Chief, I think he double died because he had DARPA Chief and Decoy Octopus, Foxhound, because it was programmed.
That's what I was thinking, because you're sent to get the genome soldiers, which Decoy Octopus is one of them, right?
No, well, he's a Foxhound, but I think it was also programmed to. Was it also programmed to kill the Foxhound members? I'm assuming so.
I don't think it was. Because they do have a discussion in that room, Ocelot and Liquid, about Foxdie, like maybe it does affect older people first. Like, they don't even have the answers either. Like, they just don't know. I think it was just meant to target Liquid, DARPA, and Kenneth Baker.
And yeah, maybe.
Because it's the only ones that, I mean, technically, if you target Liquid, you basically kill all the other soldiers too, because they all have that genome.
That sequence or whatever.
That he talks about.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's have a little bit into the story. So Liquid supposedly dies from that helicopter. Actually, I'll go back to what German was talking about too. Ocelot's bomb. If you give up in the torture room, so you can give up on the first one, and then he'll never try to torture you again.
Okay.
And then from there, the only way to get out is to crawl under the bed or to wait for the ninja, I think. How the hell do you get out? I think it's only the bed.
Bed, probably, yeah.
So you get out of there, and so if you give up, Ocelot puts a bomb in your inventory, but with a actually pretty long timer. So it's not like, I immediately died, like the one that you found in the water.
Yeah.
So if you beeline it, you will explode climbing up the tower trying to escape all those soldiers.
Okay.
Like that's I've beelined it before just to see how long I can make it, and that's where they'll just blow up and be like, oh, cool. But because there's a codec call that happens, and if you take it, good old Deep Throat tells you there's a bomb in your items.
I remember that.
Yes, and wait, what do you mean?
That's what I'm saying.
I got that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't give up. Yeah.
I think he puts it in no matter what. Maybe just with a shorter timer, because that happened pretty quick. Like, you're not even that far, and he's like, "There's a bomb in your equipment."
Yeah,
it's the opposite.
Something about he gave you a bomb, and you go through your equipment. I was like, and I went through, and there was a bomb there. Yeah,
it's the opposite. Sorry, if you give up, there's no bomb.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so then never mind. What the hell am I talking about the bomb then? Well, I guess because we never mentioned it, but.
Yeah.
Where are we?
Story, pretty much. We're just kind of recapping the game, I'm assuming, at this point.
So in the snowfield, did you by any chance look to the right? You know, that little ledge that you were talking about, where you were hiding from Sniper Wolf?
Yeah, I noticed there was a ration over there.
So if you press up against the wall, the camera moves over and points at a parachute that is stuck in a tree.
Oh.
And then you get a phone call from Campbell and Naomi and all them, and they're like, what the hell? And because Snake's like, hey, I just saw a parachute. It's like, it couldn't be Liquid. And he's like, no, if he jumped out of that helicopter, he'd be sliced faster than an onion on an infomercial. Like, that's literally the thing he says. Campbell's like, you think that's a message to you? Like, I'm not dead? And Snake says, no, I think it's just like more like, I'll string you up. And it's just
it's so weird. Such a weird dialogue.
Snake is so fucking just like morbid and like
yeah.
he thinks about like the worst thing. But so that's when you kill Sniper Wolf, and she tells you about her story meeting Big Boss
Saladin.
Yes, referred to as Saladin. And as she starts losing consciousness, she mistakes you for Saladin. She's like, are you Saladin? So that kind of
foreshadowed
the whole explanation that Liquid tells later that we'll talk about. Otacon comes and gives her gun, and you shoot her in the face.
Yep.
I don't know why you couldn't shoot her anywhere else, but you shoot her in the face.
Yeah, right.
And then you put the handkerchief back on her face, which means you can't use it to get through the caves anymore with the wolves. But if you have a peed-on cardboard box, you're good.
I was gonna touch on that one. That part reminded me of Metal Gear 2, where a couple of the people were telling you like how great Big Boss was, how wonderful he was. He's a wonderful man, and her telling you the same thing just kind of reminded me of that from Metal Gear 2.
Yeah, no, it made me think of Gray Fox when he was talking about like how I'm not here necessarily to support everything he's doing. It's just he saved me, so I owe him my life, kind of thing. Yeah.
So Big Boss is kind of portrayed in a different light here.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy. Because these people are, well, no, it's if people are following him because
why are they
see
following
his
him?
resolve. They're like, he's not a bad guy. They can like tell you. They're like, he's a good guy. Really, think about it. You know, he's trying to give us soldiers a place to be or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
or he
anyway,
was when he was live.
Yeah. That's the only reference that I can think of in this game because none of the other Foxhound members even mention him. It's just her.
Yeah. And then so then you're at the elevators, which you get a bunch of information from Master Miller about Naomi because he called her out last time, like, hey, I thought you didn't have any family and blah blah blah, and now he completely outs her. He says that he used to work for the FBI also back in the day, and he knows that Hoover, when he was in charge of the FBI, that J. Edgar Hoover, was a known racist, and Naomi had said that her grandfather was Japanese working for the FBI in Chicago, and all of those things, if you know your history, which obviously I didn't at the time as a kid, nabbing the mafia didn't first happen in Chicago. It happened in New York. And yeah, the J. Edgar Hoover was a racist and all that stuff. And so Master Miller looks into it, and you get the follow-up call after you kill Raven. And Campbell accidentally overhears. And it's like, what's going on? You know, and Miller's like, oh, fuck, we might as well tell him. And yeah, you know, they pretty much out her, saying that she's probably a spy. And Miller was like, you know, like, for who? Like an outside group? And Colonel goes like, an outside group? And he says, couldn't be. Which, German, I don't know if that refers to Lale Lule Lo also.
Yeah. I think it is Lalilulilo.
Right? So, and then, so you go to the Palki. Liquid and Ocelot are talking about how Ocelot is actually working for a general, right? Sergei Gerlukovich?
Yeah, they do mention Sergei Gerlukovich.
He's the one who supplied the Hind D.
Yeah.
The original target was somewhere in Russia, and then he decided, no, we're going to change the target to China to test our nuke. Now it's kind of obvious, but they're posing like they know Snake is right outside the door.
There's shit. I know, right?
Because there's a fucking camera pointing right at them, and Ocelot's looking. Ocelot's looking at the camera, and so they're putting on a show.
That's why I think maybe me as a kid also was like, this is fucking planned. Like, they fucking want me to do this, you know?
Yeah, that must have gone over my head because I was like,
I remember that same thing too, and like, and I'm thinking like, wouldn't Snake see the camera too? Like, it's not exactly hidden.
Doesn't alert anybody.
Yeah,
but it's got a cone of vision. If you look in the radar,
it does.
It doesn't alert anybody. Then that's when Ocelot goes like, okay, let's push this a little further and say like, oh, but aren't you worried about somebody overriding our whatever? And then that's when Liquid looks over to the camera and he's like, oh, there he fucking is. He's right outside the door.
If anyone's listening, there's a way to do that.
Yeah.
There's a way to defeat me. Just insert the Palkies.
Yeah. Bullets, my only weakness. Snake is speaking with Otacon at full volume. Which, of course, Ocelot goes like, who's that? And he fucking shoots, knocks the Palki out of your hand, and you go down there and you deal with either the water or the rats. One rat, sorry. And then go back up, start putting the Palki. And then you have a conversation in the elevator with Naomi. This is where Naomi reveals that she had an older brother who found her as an orphan and helped her get her identification as Naomi Hunter. And her older brother is none other than Frank Hunter. And we learned in Metal Gear 2 that Hunter in German is Jaeger, Frank Jaeger, who is Gray Fox.
Oh, yeah.
So we learn that, so that Gray Fox rescued her as an orphan, raised her, gave her that name, but she also, I guess, she pulled a fucking Ace Ventura and kidnapped some other woman named Naomi Hunter and took her identity. I don't know if you guys remember that from Ace Ventura, but Ray Finkel, the football player.
Ray Finkel, yeah. I was kind of thinking, like, what the fuck are you talking about? But Ray Finkel. Ray
Finkel took
Einhorn.
Einhorn. Yeah, I don't remember her first name, but Einhorn.
I don't either.
But yeah, you get that, and then she gets arrested, and Campbell becomes sus again because he's like, nope, I'm not going to let her talk to you anymore because she's telling you stuff.
Yeah.
And which that's why it's like, dude, who is the bad guy? Like was Naomi the bad guy, but now Campbell's being the bad guy now again? And so then you go do the Palki. Liquid takes off his sunglasses, which is irrelevant because you guys are talking to each other in your ear.
Yeah.
You guys don't have FaceTime on, so there's no cell phones.
That's one thing I was curious about. Like, I didn't understand, like, are they looking at each other? Like, I didn't know what was going on with that. Why did it always show their faces?
So that's just for the player. It's fourth wall breaking, because the Mei Ling thing too, like why she's sticking her tongue out.
Yeah, it's true. You know what? I never thought about that. With that, well, there's also the fact that they clearly say that it stimulates the bones in your ear, so only you can hear it. Don't they say that?
Yeah. exactly.
But then how the hell did Colonel hear that Miller was talking to you?
Especially on a different frequency, too.
On a different in your ear, so whatever.
Yeah.
So the reason they hear each other is because everyone's monitoring each other's calls.
That's right, I guess.
Right, because Miller is also monitoring the calls when Naomi is mentioning that whole, my grandfather was in the FBI, blah, blah, blah. And like Miller like immediately interrupts.
Yeah.
So is that why he says, like, turn off your monitor? And yes. I like that he doesn't say that first before, like it's not before he starts saying his, information that's secret or whatever. It's like, oh, make sure your monitor's off, by the way. It's like, we've already discussed some personal stuff and important stuff.
And I thought that was an accident until this last playthrough. I was like, you know what? I think he did that on purpose because the best way to beat your opponent is to divide and conquer.
Yeah.
So he was turning people against each other.
Also, how are you going to turn off your monitor when you're told these are nanomachines simulating the bones in your ear?
You just pick your ear.
I don't know what you're turning off, by the way. I remember going like, what the fuck am I turning off? I don't have an actual radio like I did in MGS 2 and 1. So I'm sorry, MG1 and MG2.
Yeah, you can't just you would have to just change frequencies that they're not monitoring. But
wait, how the hell do you change frequencies? Just think about a different frequency and then just push your ear, I guess.
Oh my god, dude, you just blew my fucking mind.
Holy shit! Because no one changes frequency. You use the fast speed dial.
Whoa. I wonder if anybody else listening is like, oh yeah.
It's a little knob on the side of your head and just tweak it.
Well, he always like, there's always that little action, the what do you call it?
He puts his hand up to his ear.
Yeah. So at first I thought it was like one of those like a little ear device or something. But if it's just stimulating
like an earwig
bones directly, yeah,
like an FBI earwig.
What's funny is I always thought it was like a little clicker. Like when you pushed it on his ear, it was like opening the channel for some reason.
Yeah, like a modern day,
like a Bluetooth or whatever.
Yeah, like a Bluetooth.
Exactly. So, anyways, how does he change frequencies? Unfucking known. How would you turn them off? Unknown. But apparently, he turned them off and he switches frequencies.
I'm literally that meme where the guy, like the guy's like going, and his brain is exploding.
Whoa, Whoa.
Speaking of frequencies, I'm surprised this game didn't do the whole like, let's switch frequencies from here on out, some bullshit.
Oh my god, that was so useless.
Yeah,
like Campbell's useless in Metal Gear 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Campbell's like, Miller's been dead for like 3 days. Like, oh shit. Like, how did no one know? Anyways, Liquid is about to board the Rex, Metal Gear Rex. And what does he tell you there? He starts telling you some stuff about genetics and whatnot and about Big Boss. I'm honestly blanking. Do you remember German?
No, I don't really remember either.
I know he says the Les Infanteries project for a second, and then I know what he's talking about there. He talks about how he's pissed that you killed Big Boss and that he didn't get to kill Big Boss.
You robbed him of his destiny.
That's right,
used to say, or just something.
That's where he says it. Like he's like, I wanted my revenge, and he's like, fuck you, I'm out, and he jumps into the Rex. And then that whole Gray Fox sequence happens, and Gray Fox asks you to tell Naomi that he actually was the one who made her an orphan.
Yeah.
In Zimbabwe, I guess he murdered her parents, and in his guilt, he took her in. So he asks you to do that. Tell her that I was the one who did it. And then he fucking Mega Man blasts that radome off.
By Zimbabwe, you mean Zanzibar land?
No, Zimbabwe.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No, that's where he met her
yeah, that's
parents,
where he met.
I guess.
Okay. Yeah. No, yeah, Zanzibar land. I don't think they ever mentioned that again. For the rest of the series, right? I don't think they ever talk about that shit.
No.
So, so he destroys the radome, gets killed, smashed into a million bits. But before that, he tells Snake, like, this is also a famous quote that I'm sure is embedded in German's head is, we're not tools of the government or anyone else. Fighting is the only thing that I was good at. But at least I always fought what I believed in, which is like, that's something that, you think would stick with Snake forever. And it seems like it does. He's like, I look up to this guy and whatnot. You defeat Rex. Liquid tells you that you are both clones of Big Boss. You're not his children, you're clones. And that's what the Les Enfants Terribles project was. It was developed in the 70s when you were born, and that you were originally octuplets, and they aborted the 6 other fetuses to make sure you guys grew up stronger.
Yeah, that made no sense to me logistically, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what
to promote healthy growth or some shit. He says, yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't it
make you stronger or something? Yeah.
Wouldn't it be better if they just date each other?
Well, does that? Yeah, exactly. Does that mean? Yeah, actually, that's more accurate. That one woman took all 8? Because I never understood that.
That's what I was wondering at first too. Because at first I took it as 8 women were impregnated, and then we killed 6 of them to make them stronger. It's like, how is that related at all?
No, so it is one woman because they say that they allowed one cell to divide into 8 fetuses.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
So it's definitely one woman. Yeah, I don't understand how aborting 6 of them makes any... I don't know if that biologically that does something to the woman's body where it's like, okay, now I got to give more nutrients to 8, and then maybe they abort 6, but the body is still saying, hey, there's still 8.
8, so just overfeeding them, I guess.
Yeah, 4
maybe
times as much or whatever.
That's the only logic I can... Because you're right, Kriss. It's like, what the hell?
I don't know if that's how the body works.
Maybe.
I'm not a scientist or a whatever, you know.
A gynecologist?
But, yeah, not just that, but yeah, a doctor. I'm not a doctor, man. But that makes sense, Luis.
I'm a gamer, not a doctor.
Yeah, there we go.
But Luis, that makes any sense if anything. It's the body says, oh, there's 8 fucking babies, so I need a lot of nutrients, and all of a sudden 6 of them are gone. So now all that nutrients is going to 2.
Yeah, because I don't know like the facts, but I do know that like when a woman goes through an abortion, her body is still going through some kind of physiological stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the body, I'm sure, is still assuming there's a fetus. So that's I'm sure it's not just mentally traumatic to go through that, but also the body is going through something crazy. So if there's any women listening, like, let us know, like, does this make sense, this theory? Like, would the body try to compensate and try to overfeed 2 fetuses because it was supposed to be originally 8?
Well, not just any woman. Is there any doctors as well, or anyone who's qualified to speak of this? Because otherwise we sound like idiots right now.
I'm sure we do.
Not to mention, even if the body does overcompensate and feed them extra, does that make them stronger, or would it just like make them bigger or grow faster or something?
Stronger, better, faster.
Maybe harder too.
When I was playing it this last time, this made me think that isn't this the story or the concept behind the movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito?
Interesting.
You know, I won't lie to you. I've seen Twins once a long, long time ago, and I don't remember it, and I didn't like it at the time because I was more into the Arnold Schwarzenegger supposed to be killing people and fucking...
Not making you laugh?
Carrying logs on his fucking shoulder like nothing, you know? So I don't remember liking it. I've heard it's good. Correct me if I'm wrong, so I should rewatch that movie.
Yeah, because I remember at the end they say something similar where it's like the only reason Arnold Schwarzenegger exists, that's why he's like this perfect bodybuilder looking dude, is because they use Danny DeVito to make Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, it's literally the same, like, I got all the recessive genes, and you got whatever.
The dominant
genes. So Liquid has got a freaking, there's sibling rivalry right there that he's not too happy about, and then wants to fight you. And so if you give up in the torture room, Meryl does, in fact, die, Kriss.
So she's not at the top of Metal Gear? Was she not at the top of Metal Gear at the final fight then?
She is there still.
Oh, so that's still there.
Yeah, she's still there because once you defeat Liquid, there's a scene where you run over to Meryl, like the normal ending. And, you know, you're like holding her and you're like, Meryl? And then she just limps over, and then the infamous Meryl that he screams, you know, like fucking Wolverine into the sky. And then Otacon shows up. So this is a completely different ending than what Kriss got. Otacon shows up, you know, he's like, we both lost someone, and Snake's like, what do you know? And like literally he's like, what the fuck do you know? But pretty much convinces them, like, we gotta get out of here, dude. Like, are you just gonna sit here and cry over spilled milk? You know, you were slapping this bitch a couple hours ago and now you're mad? And then so Otacon is the one who drives the Jeep and also triggers the camera, which he should know is there because he tells you that he turned off all the security.
That's what I was going to say.
So it should be easy out. But no, apparently he missed one camera, and the same sequence happens all the way up until the point to where Liquid dies from Fox Die. But this time you get a slightly different conversation when you're down with the snowmobile. You know, it's like, what are we going to do? Like, oh, well, we're going to look to the future and we're going to live and blah, blah, blah. And then there's a little joke between Otacon and Snake because Snake reveals his real name, which is not Wilbur, Kriss, but what is his real name?
David.
I don't know if you guys have seen this movie, but they joke about the fact that it's like, oh, Hal and Dave. Haha, that's a good one. Have you guys ever seen 2001: A Space Odyssey?
Long time ago. I should rewatch that as well.
Okay,
Yeah. Remember,
Yes.
Kojima's a movie buff, man.
Yeah. So Hal is the psychotic computer, and Dave is the guy trying to shut him down. So yeah, there's that little reference, and then they ride into the sunset. No mention of Caribou in that ending.
Yeah.
But in the Merrill ending, everything's cool. That's when you have a codec conversation with Otacon. He's like, I got you guys' backs, like, just go. I'll stay here. She triggers the camera, Liquid dies, and then he still reveals his name there to her, David, and they ride off, he points out there's Caribou out there, and then they ride off into the sunset. Naomi is super vague about if you're going to live or die, and that's Metal Gear Solid.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding. There's a post-credit scene.
Oh, right, yeah.
Is it really a scene, or is it more of a dialogue? Tomatoes.
It sounds like Ocelot. He's talking to somebody on the phone. He reveals that Liquid thought he was the inferior one, that he does have the Rex dummy warhead data, and that there is a third twin? Triplet?
Yeah.
And that he goes by the name Solidus, and that it's the President of the United States of America.
And he knew the whole time. So it wasn't Houseman's idea, which, by the way, I remember the first time I ever played this, and Houseman just jumps in on your codec. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Because again, I probably wasn't paying enough attention. I don't know if they mention him in the codex ever.
He's in the manual.
He's in the manual. You told me in the manual, but he's also said that Colonel says that the Secretary of Defense is the one that set up this whole...
Is an operational control.
Yeah. So still, it's just kind of like... I mean, this is what, 90% of the game? Like 95% of the game, and then he just fucking shows up out of nowhere? I'm like, what the fuck? Who the hell is this guy?
That's how I felt about, what was his name in Metal Gear 2 that I didn't talk to?
Oh, freaking... Yeah, dude, you can call him right off the bat. You can talk to him. I'm telling you, you should replay it and call him for every boss fight, because he tells you you're fucked every time.
Yeah, he's like, the only forced call is this guy, and I was like, whoa, where does this guy come from? So yeah, that's kind of how I felt. Same thing with Jim Houseman. I was like, who's this guy? Like, oh, I guess they did talk about him.
So yeah, Solidus.
Yeah. Actually, that Codec call does reveal that Jim Houseman didn't mean to kill the DARPA chief. So whose idea was Fox dying? Who picked the targets?
Huh.
Right?
Yeah.
Which I think German kind of alluded to it. It was Ocelot. Ocelot orchestrated all of this to make sure that he gets the dummy warhead data for Solidus.
Oh.
That's my guess at this point, because if Jim Houseman didn't mean to kill DARPA chief...
Yeah, that's right. He said he was my friend. Yeah. So, yeah, good catch there. I also want to point out how dumb everything is, in the sense that, like we said, if the whole point was just for you to really just get in there and infect everybody, then why not tell you that in the first place,
Yeah.
Second of all, if Liquid's plan the whole time was for you to make it all the fucking way up to the Metal Gear room and activate Metal Gear, why the fuck did he do all this bullshit of fighting Psycho Mantis, fighting, it was like, maybe...
Why does he keep trying to kill you?
Why? Yeah. Maybe to make it convincing to the Pentagon, or, to the Secretary of Defense, maybe that's the only thing I can think of. These weren't easy battles. There were at no point in time where you ever like, oh yeah, I got this,
Hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly. The snake fucking... Again, remember, all it would have taken was one good shot from some lucky soldier, or C4 that you, Claymore, you missed. Snake's dead, and there's Liquid's plan. Gone. Just up in smoke. Or
a grenade that you dropped on accident and killed you just minutes before you activated it.
Or wasting time in a room filled with gas, smoking cigarettes.
So that, again, that's a game oversight or just whatever. We're looking too deep into it, but it just always makes me laugh. Like, wait a minute, if your plan was for me to do this the whole time, then why the fuck were you trying to kill me the whole goddamn time?
Yeah. But if you remember, that idea came from Psycho Mantis for you to be the one with the PAL key to do it.
Okay.
Because they accidentally killed DARPA chief, remember?
Oh, yeah.
There's that one.
So that wasn't
flashback.
The original plan. You're right. Liquid didn't know what Ocelot was doing. That's right.
Yeah. So that wasn't the original plan. And then, so I guess Ocelot is kind of sus, like he on purpose killed DARPA chief, maybe, right?
I don't know.
Because that's what he does. Like, he loves torturing. Like, he wouldn't accidentally let someone important die.
Well, they do call him an expert in interrogation and torture.
Yeah.
So accident seems a little bit,
out of his, yeah. Okay, well, yeah, but that's Metal Gear Solid. If you give up in the torture room, you don't get to know that there was a triplet.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
It actually cuts that part out, but it does reveal that he's talking to the president.
You know what? I think I remember. It muffles it, right?
Well, no, it just doesn't say it. They just completely cut it out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because you don't get to hear the other person. The other person is like muffled out.
Yeah.
But yeah, also another thing that that Liquid mentions in that room when he's talking to Ocelot is that Mantis's brainwashing is wearing off the soldiers.
Yeah.
And that's what the music was, actually. So the music was the brainwashing. And then here's a couple of little Easter eggs. If you kill the rats that are in the first sniper fight with Sniper Wolf, you'll get a codec call where they're like, "The hell are you doing? Like, you're not an exterminator or some shit." I forget what they say on that one.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yep. If you because there's, I don't know if you noticed, Chris, there's a bunch of little rats just running across.
I have noticed that. Yeah, I never tried to kill them.
You can kill them, and you'll get kind of called out on that.
Yeah, it's almost like the game is like, don't grow up to be a sociopath, please.
Yeah,
honestly.
And then before you fight Vulcan Raven, you can punch the crows that land on the railing, and they die. And you'll also get another call from Colonel, and he'll be like, "We're not paying you to be a scarecrow, you know."
Yes.
And also, Vulcan Raven says, "You killed my friends." So he knows that you killed a couple ravens, but if you don't kill any of them, Vulcan Raven doesn't say that.
Huh.
Yeah. I wanted to also point out that the codec is a magical time traveling device that stops time.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that myself.
You can pause time and just have a full on conversation.
No shit. That one I always did. What's the phrase they use? My sense of disbelief was
your suspension of disbelief
was accurate or whatever. I just imagine he was dodging bullets and fucking doing shit while talking. Because again, it's in your head technically, even though we see him push his ear.
Yeah.
So I always imagine like he's crawling in the vent while talking. He's climbing ladder. He wasn't physically stopped. For a few exceptions where he squats to talk or whatever.
Yeah,
but that's where I was like, oh yeah, if it's in your ear, then you can just do whatever you want while talking. So
yeah, because they do make some comics of Metal Gear, and that's how it's drawn, right? Mm-hmm. Like you said, he's dodging bullets and doing whatever while also having the codec conversation. So yeah, that's what's really happening in that world.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to be one of the soldiers in that room who happens to see him just talking to himself, apparently.
That's true.
Just to fly on the wall, like, what? Is he crazy? What's wrong with him?
Yeah.
He's all yelling, "No, I can't do that." He's like, "Okay, I'm going to back away."
And so here's a cool little replay value part of the game. So if you give up, you get the stealth camo, and you get to play the entire game with the stealth camo. The only problem is that it will affect your rank, because otherwise you can just beeline everything. The only thing that you can't hide from with the stealth camo is the bosses. They will know where you are no matter what. If you save Meryl, you get the infinite ammo bandana. So you equip that, and yeah, you get infinite ammo on any weapon that you have equipped.
Okay.
I don't know, Luis. I'm just going to bring it up. I mean, I searched it up. It says it doesn't affect your gameplay, or your rank, I'm sorry.
Well then, how can that be though? Because then you can just go through the entire game without alerting anybody, and that's just a straight up cheat. And
it makes it easier.
Big boss mode?
No. That's okay.
Or not big boss mode, but big boss rank?
Here's what I'm going to ask, because I don't fucking remember. Was the rank part of the original? Was it always there?
What do you mean?
Well, because if I'm trying to remember here, was it introduced in the first fucking game? Like the original goddamn game? Or was it something that was just added in afterwards? Big boss rank.
Yeah, that's originally
really?
in version 1.0. I mean, it's in the first Metal Gear on MSX.
And you did play the MSX version, right?
Yeah, we all did, remember?
Well, no, we're playing technically an emulation version.
Oh, I get what you're saying. The MSX.
That's what I'm saying. We're emulating it. It's been dubbed because it wasn't released in America. So what I'm trying to say is, like, in the original games, did they have a fucking rank? But anyways, that's what the computer says.
That's a good question. Okay.
Because I don't remember. I know ranks for sure.
Oh no, but okay. Which one are we talking about? Are we talking about Metal Gear or Metal Gear Solid?
Solid for sure right now.
Okay. Well, I was talking about Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2. That those have a ranking system. So why wouldn't Metal Gear Solid have a ranking system right out of the bat? You know what I
mean? Because I don't remember, like I said, back in the day.
That ranking system was there day one for sure.
Was it day one?
Yeah, because there was no like day one patch. There was nothing like that.
No, not like day one patch, but when they re-released it for.
And I had the original, not the green greatest hits. So I know for a fact that was my only reason for replaying, is to try to get a higher rank. I know that for a fact.
Okay. Yeah, but anyways, because I don't remember. I don't want to lie. Part of me wants to say that I got the max ranking on this one, but I don't remember. 2 for sure, because 2 is the game I've put the second most amount of hours into, other than 3. And but I don't remember ranking in 1.
Yeah. So So I'll test if you want, since I could just speedrun it, but I'll grab I'll beat the game twice. I'll get both the special items, and then I'll speedrun it because that'll be the quickest way to get through both those games. I should theoretically be able to get Big Boss rank if you are correct. If I use both those items.
No, if the internet is correct, because I'm just telling you what I'm reading online.
Yeah, as far as I know, I remember if I even used one of those items just like once.
Oh yeah, even if you clicked it, and that's what I remember too. But that's why I was telling Kriss that, because like I had just read it earlier this morning, I think, or because we're getting tons of Metal Gear stuff, because that's all we're talking about in Google and Big Brother's listening. So that's all I get in my feeds.
Big Boss is listening.
Yeah, so there was the Lalulelo is listening, and there was a quick little YouTube short that said, how to get Big Boss rank in Metal Gear 1 or some bullshit like that. And long story short, they said in there, they're like, oh, you can just use the cam or beat the game, get the camo and then just use that. And I was like, wait a minute, I thought that affected it. That's why I told Kriss earlier when you jumped in, I was like, as far as I know, I guess you can use it, but
because my only argument against that is if that were true, speedrunners would be using that every single run.
But again, speedrunners do self-impose certain stuff on them, so. But
New Game Plus is allowed.
Oh, is it?
Yes, New Game Plus is allowed. So yeah, I don't know. Like, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
I'll test it. But my brain is telling me the original thought you had, and it feels
your
like...
Your mind is telling you no, but your body?
It's telling me yes. Oh, another replay thing. If you beat the game twice, you will get a new outfit. Do you remember that, German?
I know what that is, yeah.
You get... So Kojima is not only a big fan of movies, but of a specific character, almost to a fault. He loves him some James Bond. So you will have a tuxedo on your third playthrough. And Cyborg Ninja will have Spider-Man colors.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so his textures will change and he'll look like Spider-Man, pretty much.
You know what? I never made it that far because I saw tuxedo and I was like, okay, cool, I'm done. I never replayed it with the tuxedo.
Yeah, no, you'll get Cyborg Ninja as Spider-Man, pretty much.
Interesting.
Another tidbit I wanted to highlight, because I think this is pretty important to Metal Gear Solid 1 and no other Metal Gear game in the series, is a gentleman named Jeremy Blaustein. He was the one in charge of localization. So he was the one basically directing all the voice actors, and I don't know if he exactly like rewrote lines or just to kind of, because like things don't translate exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, we wouldn't say this in the West or whatever. So this guy, this guy Jeremy Blaustein is definitely responsible for the tone and just basically the way everyone sounds. And to me personally, this is the best voice acted and tonally best Metal Gear game in the series. I know German will argue for 3, and for me 3 is a close second because it has almost the same tone as 1.
Talking about that, replaying this, I remember why I loved it, why I liked it. Snake's voice was very clear. I mean, obviously Colonel's voice to me was very it hit home. It's got like especially he looks like Rambo's what was his name?
Well, yeah, that's who his original picture was in Metal Gear 2 before they changed it.
Yeah. So
I don't know his name, but yeah, that guy.
Yeah. So anyways, so like
he's a father figure.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm still in the sense that I'm telling you 3 is my favorite game. Period. I think, but
of all video games.
Well, of all Metal Gear games, for sure.
Would you say of all video games?
That's a hard one. I'd have to really think about that. 1 is, I think, holds a high second for me in terms of like just the world building and the scenery and the direction, like you were talking about. Just every character felt
real.
I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to give this guy credit because they either fell out, Kojima and him, maybe because he changed things to be better received in the West, or he just didn't want to come back. The tone changed after this game. For me especially. Like, I felt it right away. I was like, why does this game feel like this? Not for worse, because
just
2
different.
2 is a lot of people's favorite game, and I played the hell out of it. But yeah, just wanted to give this guy a shout out. He, a couple of years ago, for the 21st anniversary of Metal Gear, he posted this on, it looks like Reddit, and he said, "I'm Jeremy Blaustein, the translator of this game. Of all the games I've translated, this and Silent Hill 2, by the way, he also did that one, stand as the ones I'm most proud of. I really sunk my heart and soul into Metal Gear Solid because I loved it so much. I still do. It means so much to me, and I am so grateful to all the fans that have given me back so much love. It has made me a very happy and proud man and made all the work worth it 1,000 times over. Thank you all." I just wanted to put that out there. And also the fact that they did all the voice acting in a house, not like a recording booth. They like rented,
wow.
They rented out a house or something.
That's impressive.
And they just like recorded it. So that's kind of why it doesn't sound like, if you notice, like what kind of fucking mics were they using? Like, are they using the mics we're using right now for this podcast?
Yeah,
like,
but at the same time, like it's early PS1 era. It's not like you don't expect it to sound excellent either. So,
and it gives it that tone too. Like it's of that era.
Yeah.
Yeah, just having that little bit of roughness also gives it that personality.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, dudes. Our next game is going to be VR missions. It'll just be one episode for next week. German may or may not be on the next episode. He has some plans. He will let us know.
I'll be on a secret mission. Can't speak about it.
On a secret mission to Puerto Rico, I think.
Thanks for telling them. Now my cover's blown.
You didn't tell me. You know who told me?
Who?
What do you think?
I don't know. Jessica?
Yeah.
I told you. I sent you a message and you were like, nah, it's spam. I was like,
when did you tell me?
Bro, I sent you a thing. And I even said it's real. And you're like, nah, man, it's a spam. I'm like, oh. And
dude, that was months ago. Oh my God. I forgot about that. Anyways. We'll cut this part out anyways. But yeah, so
no, it's cool. I don't care.
We're not sure if German's going to be with us or not because he'll be coming back that same day. So I'm sure you'll need some recovery time, jet lag and whatever.
Absolute jet lag. God damn.
But I hope you'll have fun, man. Like we'll be thinking of you. You said you are going to play it. How are you going to play it?
Oh, I mean, I'm not leaving until next Friday midnight, so I can hold on.
No, you
Wednesday.
Said are you leaving Wednesday or coming back Wednesday?
So I can make the VR missions, but I might not be able to make the next one after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then this conversation was pointless.
It absolutely was.
Hooray!
I'm confused. Yeah, I leave next Friday midnight, I think, or Saturday midnight.
Okay.
Yeah, and I get back 2 Wednesdays from now.
So then that one will be most likely starting of Ghost Babel.
Okay, starting Ghost Babel. That's fine.
I think or we can do like a filler or something.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so our next one will be VR missions. Just one episode. We'll play as many as we can get through. I will do my best to 100% that game because I forget actually how awesome that game is.
You know, I owned that game. I bought it when I remember I eventually had a used PS1, and this is after PS2 for crying out loud. So I went back and bought a used PS1 just so I can have Metal Gear 1 on there because I wanted it. And I saw the VR missions and I said, oh, hell yeah. I thought it was a sequel or a prequel or something, and I was disappointed. So I can tell you this much. I didn't play much of it. I didn't care for it.
Oh, man. It's, you definitely got to get through the beginning stuff.
Yeah.
Because the beginning stuff is basically the shit that you get in regular Metal Gear Solid. Mm-hmm. But once you get past that, there's like super fun, like weird missions that are like, what the fuck? What is happening? Like reality breaking stuff.
That's what I've heard, that they get pretty cool later on down the line, but I definitely did not make it far. And I even sold that game. I don't have it. I don't even have it anymore because, like I said, I bought it back in the day and I sold it because I was just disappointed because I was on a Metal Gear fix, you know. So that's when I had my PS2 already at that point. So I beaten the hell out of 2, and then I was probably surfing the internet, and probably one of the first things I bought on eBay was that game, VR missions. And it's got the damn ninja in the front, and I'm thinking like, oh, I'm gonna get to play Metal Gear 1 as the ninja or some shit, and yeah, I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kriss, spoilers.
Oh, that's fine.
You don't get to play Metal Gear 1 as the ninja.
Dang it.
Or do you?
Or do you?
I mean, you didn't make it very far, so you don't know.
Yeah, actually, I don't.
I do. Yeah, I did 100% that way back in the day. I did all 300 missions and fucking aced them. Like getting S rank is insanely hard. I don't know how I did it. I definitely won't be able to do that, but I will do all 300 missions if I can.
That's what I'm trying to say. What I was mentioning, we brought up this whole conversation about Big Boss ranking. I want to say I've gotten the max ranking on all games, but knowing what you got to do, I'm like, did I fucking get it? Like, dude, I don't, you know.
Yeah, I think I've only gotten Big Boss rank because you can only get on extreme, right? I might be wrong, but I think I only got maybe once or twice on Metal Gear Solid. Like it's insanely hard.
And again, as kids, we had more time, so there was definitely more opportunity to just sit there and try over and over and over again.
Yeah. All right, so we'll end it with a tiny section called Ask Kriss. What do you think is going to happen in the next game, which will be Metal Gear. I want your theories for Metal Gear Solid 2.
Okay.
Not for these next 2 games, because these next 2 games are, let's say,
side projects, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Non-canon, but maybe canon.
Non-canon, maybe canon. The general population didn't really know about them. People were waiting for Metal Gear 2.
So like spin-offs, kind of. where it keeps like the same idea, but it's not necessarily like
well, let's
the
just
main
put it this
story.
way. Let's put it this way. When you played Kingdom Hearts 1, you were thinking about Kingdom Hearts 2, not Kingdom
True.
Hearts Chain
Birth
of
by
Memories,
Sleep or
not Kingdom Hearts
Okay.
Recoded. You were thinking about 2. So even though those games are part of the series, you weren't thinking about them. You probably didn't even know about them. So
Right.
what is going to happen for Metal Gear 2? What do you think?
Solid 2.
Solid 2. Sorry.
So Colonel's gonna come back. Gray Fox is obviously dead. I'm pretty sure Liquid Snake is dead as well because of the Fox die. I think Solidus is gonna come out or come into play somehow. Whether we learn about him or he actually reveals himself or whatever. And I think Meryl's going to be involved as well. Only because you mentioned like creating the whole paradox thing, and you said I didn't create the paradox, and so I was like, oh, it must have something to do with the end of the game, but it didn't. So I think it's going to be with Metal Gear Solid 2 that is going to have something to do with Meryl, whether she teams up with us or she's a support character like Colonel and Naomi and all of them. I think Mei Ling will return. I think Colonel will return. Naomi, I think, will return as well, and Meryl. Those are my four returns. Those are my four theories on who's returning.
Okay. So I will tell you the paradox that I was talking about was involving Johnny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because, remember I said you let him live, so now you have to live with the consequences.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I wanted to ask you next, actually, is so you believe the Meryl ending is canon?
Yes.
Okay, you heard it here first, guys. Kriss believes Meryl lives. Will he be right?
But that won't be for a while. That's 2 more weeks at least.
Yeah, we'll let Kriss think about that. And no spoilers below, y'all.
No.
I mean, not like anyone's been commenting, but did want to tell you guys, though, we've hit over 200 downloads.
Nice.
Which fucking blows my mind.
Yeah.
Which, 6 episodes... over 200 downloads is like 35 people, I guess,
basically.
listening. So we thank you all for listening. Thank you for making it all the way through to at least Metal Gear Solid 1. And we've never asked for this, but leave us a review, if you guys can leave us like a top rank review, 5 stars or whatever it is on the podcast app that you're using. And if you want to write something, we'll read it out.
Yeah. And if you do leave a not as positive review, please let us know what we can do to improve it.
Or we'll just ignore it. And No, positive feedback, or not, constructive feedback is always appreciated.
Yeah.
Anyways, this one ran insanely long. This will be fun to edit. So I guess we'll sign off here from Codec Calls, a Metal Gear Saga podcast. I am Noise One. What did I just say? Noise One?
Yep.
AKA Luis. I almost said AKA Noise. It's late. It's past midnight again. Damn it.
I know. Hey guys, I'm German, aka Contra, aka Riser. Thank you for listening.
And I am DammitKriss, aka Kriss, aka the World's Worst Gamer. We appreciate you hanging out.
And we'll see you next time. We're signing off. Pew! Sound effect.
Nice.